Owls.
Turn on Night Owls.
And now, the forerunner to Facebook, where your words tell 1,000 Instagrams. Use your phone for making that call. And get talking across the northeast, please. Because this is Night Owls with Alan Robson.
Hello and welcome everybody, Alan Robson with you. Hope you had a brilliant Christmas, as good as you could possibly make it. Squeezing the juice out of hard, tough times at present. Thought we would start with something, because I intend for 2021 to be a much better year for everybody. We're going to make a few changes to the kind of stuff that we're delivering to you. And of course, there'll always be Sunday nights on Greatest Hits. Got a few things lined up. Hope you're going to join in and make them real, because we can. Starting off with a challenge tonight. Simply best and worst presents you've had. Did you get a real crappy one? You know, something past its sell-by date? Oh. You know they got that out the cupboard, don't you? You know you got it out the cupboards. Can't hide it. Says November 2020. What's that about? We've all done it. Name and shame. We want the best present and the worst present. And anything that was really amazing fun. Anything that was brilliant. Everything that was lush and Geet Canny as oot. I want to know. We haven't had much of it. So do tell. Not everything goes according to plan.
He came round and I said, whatever you do, when you get it from the table, you must push the chair under the table. I says, because my oldest dog, the bitch, will be on the table.
Right.
Right? Well, you can guess what happened. I took the turkey through, piece of pork, and he's standing there in the kitchen, and you know what, you get this sinking feeling. I said to him, you didn't leave your chair out, did you? And the look came across his face, and we went in, and there were the two dogs on the table eating the turkey.
Oh, no.
Well, when the scene were, they both tried, they were like on the table, trying to grab this turkey between them, but trying to get down at the same time.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not kidding you. The farce continued as I was running around after them, trying to get it off them. Not because I particularly wanted to eat it at that stage, but I knew it would give them diarrhea and I'd be cleaning up for a month.
For a week, absolutely.
You know, so Christmas dinner ended up being, well, it ended up as an Indian. With roast vegetables and Yorkshire pudding and turkey gravy.
Do you know, that sounds great. Yorkshire pudding with a bit of chicken tikka masala, why not? Bad gifts, oh, you've had them all, haven't you? If anybody gives you anything, you're always taught to act thrilled and put that fake, I've waited for this since I was 3.
Yes.
You know?
Yes, yeah, because you didn't say anything. I was always grateful for everything I really got, in all honesty.
So what was it that's left you blighted then?
It was a perfume, like a rectangular wooden box, and it had about 12 small perfumes in.
Right.
They were French. Mm-hmm. They all smelled the same. Disgusting. Oh, thank you, Mum. Thank you, Dad. I love it.
Oh, that's the thing, because if you make it sound, if you're convincing enough, oh, well, she loved that one we got her last year.
Oh, they were horrible. I mean, they were tiny little glass, pitiful little glass kind of perfume things.
Provided you didn't wear them. There you go. So what was your best and worst Christmas gift given or taken this year? Give me a call, 0191 488 3188, or send me a tweet or a text or a semaphore from a mountaintop. We'll pick it up somehow. Other things we're talking about. Scotland wants to leave Great Britain within the next 5 years. It says it's going to lose, it already has lost billions to Brexit before they've started losing business. Were there any real bargains on Boxing Day as well? The reason I mention this is everybody goes, oh, Black Friday, oh, I'm going to get a big telly, I'm going to get a this, going to get a that. And then they say, oh, Boxing Day, there's going to be a big sale. The sales start on Boxing Day. Was there anything, or are they just wheeling out the old stuff that they haven't sold this year because of COVID? What do you think? 0191 488 3188. Storm Bella. Have you heard about Storm Bella? Snow and freezing conditions incoming. We're also told that the wind's going to be terrible. There's typhoons and hurricanes, and palm trees from the Caribbean are going to be blown across our... Well, maybe it's not gone that far. And the people of Bedford were told everybody should leave Bedford, which is huge. Bedfordshire, everybody should leave. They were warned. This reeks to me of what they did with COVID. Get out! You're all going to die in Bedford. And then the following day, when nothing happened, the people of Bedford wrote in, and one of their quotes I have to read you. Storm Bella arrived last night. My wheelie bin was moved almost 3 inches. Carnage. And why is it we can't cope with basic weather? This is what weather is. You could argue, some people say, that's what viruses are. And speaking of which, will the COVID vaccine cover the new strains of the virus? They say, I hope so, which is not the answer we really wanted. And they say that viruses mutate dozens and dozens and dozens of times, so it's never the same second time round. So what does that mean? We should get to know these things. Also, Brexit is not what Brexiteers wanted. Eddie is a very keen Brexiteer. He said, we're still tied to Europe. We asked to break free. We asked for 85% of our fishing rights to be given back to us. We got 25%, starting at 14%, building up to 18% over the next 5 years. We're giving it to the Europeans. And he says, even Boris today admitted that financially, the financial institutions will all suffer, which means all of our costs will rise, and we still have to pay Europe. Oh. Not the Brexit that was being advertised. And some people believe that the whole COVID thing will start to go away quite quickly, not because of the vaccine, but because of Brexit. The deal's been done, so there's no going back. So therefore, we can't have riots about how it's not the Brexit that everybody wanted. Some of the Remainers are quite happy because they've got pretty much all of the things that they had before. But then again, we're still paying them. Just seems a bit wonky to me. Also, can we please get internationally back to normal? Pubs, gigs, sporting events, holidays. Without the thought of if you book a holiday, you're going to be called back at any moment. That'd be nice. Drink drivers. A driver from Westmore 4 times over the limit. Why do so many people think it's okay to drink and drive?
Went to lean against the lamppost, missed it completely. They went home, and I was still there the next morning.
No!
With the snow on the top of my body. You know these, like, snow angels.
Just don't drive. For the sake of all of us, just don't get behind the wheel of a car. Not even if you've had a snifter, not just one drink. We got badly taught back in the day. David Bellamy, wasn't his fault, he was reading his script, but he says, oh, you can have a couple of pints. No, you can't. You just can't. It's not worth the risk. Also, Donald Trump refuses to sign a bill for aid similar to the furlough that people got in Britain. And because he's not prepared to pay any money out to those not working due to COVID, up to 14 million Americans could end up losing their jobs. About 4 million already have. 1 in every 5 train services is due to be cut in the new year because of lack of funds caused, of course, by the last year. And this is something really... I might be the only anorak that finds this next bit amazing, but do you know archaeologists have uncovered in Pompeii, you know where the volcano went off, they have uncovered in Pompeii a salad bar. How cool is that? It actually looks a bit like the salad bars you would get in places like Pizza Hut. You know, a place where there's little spaces for all your different food items. And they've had a look to see what food items were in all of those receptacles. And there's motifs on the front of cockerels and fish and crabs and stuff, just like you would have somewhere in Britain. And they ate goats, pigs, seafood, snails, and a whole range of different types of fish. Yeah, simple things. But I just thought it was brilliant because it looked like you could just put food in it now and would be a queue. Holiday bargains on offer. And I don't know how much telly you've watched, probably too much. They're advertising holidays everywhere. Would you risk booking one? And the question is, are you going to bank like so many people did last year? Loads of people booked up holidays thinking, oh, when COVID's over, we'll all be off. And then it came to August, September, October, and they had to get refunds. And then they said, oh, Canary Islands are open. And everybody booked for the Canaries. And then 3 days in, they said, oh, we're going to close the borders. You're going to have to all come back. And they've all wasted their holidays. Would you trust booking a holiday in 21? I'd like to hear your views on that too. The COVID vaccine added £145 billion to the British stock market. Therefore, the rich have doubled and trebled how rich they are. Doubled and trebled. If ever you were wondering what COVID was about, they've trebled how rich they are. A lot of these people connected with the stocks and shares. Not the majority of us. The rest of us just get stuck with a needle and we're told to get on with it. We have discovered why vacations and breaks away are so important, judging by the amount of people that have been ill and suffered all kinds of mental issues, when all many needed were just to get the hell out. And also, why do the British have no imagination when it comes to food? A top European chef said the best that we can muster is fish and chips and a roast beef dinner. That's it. We have no other great specialities. And you know, most of the specialities we've got are like sausage and chips, pasty and chips, pie and peas, sausage roll, something with beans. Why is it that we have got such a shaky British cuisine? Fortunately, we can have Italian pizzas or American-style pizzas. We can have beautiful Indian food, Chinese food, Greek food. In the north, we've got everything. But why is our own cuisine so shambolic? And it is. A lot of sham and a load of unpleasant food. So give us a call, 0191 488 3188. Do you know, I'm so glad to be back sitting in this seat that I could practically yodel.
This is Night Owls with Alan Robson. Got something to say? Say it when the right people are listening.
The voice of the North.
Alan Robson's Night Owls, the phone-in that gets you talking.
Okay, a couple of quick emails as well. Chris says, hi Alan, just a quick one to say, really nice to hear your show after a day riddled with anxiety. It is such a relief. Hope you and your team had a lovely Christmas. I think it's safe to say we all didn't do too bad. There you go. Neve's been on as well. Regarding the bit about English cuisine being lacklustre, as somebody who's travelled a bit, having grown up in England and moved to the USA, I thought I'd chime in. While the English cookbook when it comes to meal times isn't quite as diverse as other countries, England tends to excel in desserts. There's a very large range of desserts from England, from fancy and involved things like trifle and a large number of different cakes and puddings, to finger food like flapjacks and scones, down to smaller attacks, the sweets, bonbons that you like at corner shops. Is that the best we can manage? You know, you look across it in American food and you've got Cajun food, you've got barbecue, you've got all that whole, there's a million in those areas alone, and there's a lot more besides. You go to French, you've got that delicate cuisine, the most amazing pastries in Britain. And he says, about books, I watched the YouTube stream and the bumper between segments, when the music's about to play, it's been the adverts, vastly louder than the rest of the stream. I am aware of this. I have been told by several people, and hopefully we'll be doing it. We will allow the technology to do its thing in quieter fashion. We've aimed for that. But Neve, thank you very much. What do you think about this English food thing? Do join in and let us know. We're going across to Darlow, where we find Jill in Darlington. Hello, Jill.
Hiya.
Hello, darling. Right, best and worst. Dive in. What's the crack?
My sister, years ago, was married, and 1 year her husband, well, now he's an ex, bought her an egg slicer because he always wanted perfectly sliced eggs for his bait.
Oh, that's just...
But when she opened it, there was no blade, and she actually liked mashed eggs, so she did divorce him after that.
This is... How many times do men have to be told, never buy kitchen equipment?
Exactly.
You can't say, oh, it's the thing. You can't just, in an egg slicer, of all things, an egg slicer in my house is a knife. But I know what you mean, those things that go and they all fall into bits. I've seen them. What? How can you get excited? Somebody else said last week that the thing his wife wanted, now, believe this if you may, because a man told you, so you instantly have to cast doubt on it. My wife wants a set of 3 steamer pans. What? I mean, how? Why? Steamer? You can't get excited about a pan that you steam vegetables in. Oh, no. It's Christmas. That means I might get me steamer. No, damn it. It's like ironing boards. No, I'm getting something extra, something nice, something you would never even think about having. Were you surprised in a nice way this year?
I was, yeah, but my other sisters actually just messaged me and she once got a box of Spar biscuits and she thought there was a ring inside. So she opened them, flipped every biscuit, nothing in, so she walked in the bathroom while I was having a bath and tipped them in the bath.
Oh, good girl. Good. And deservedly so. Oh, but I can just imagine her going, oh, I'm all... And then presumably wrecked them all, getting her hands in the box. Oh, that's nasty, nasty, nasty. But you did well this year yourself, though.
I did. Yes, I did. Thank you.
Brilliant. And anything that you really didn't expect? Or because you women are really clever. You're far cleverer than blokes. A bloke will just not say anything, and the woman knows their man usually, so they pick the right things. No.
Yes, I've been spoiled this year, so I'm quite pleased.
Oh, that's good. That's good. But is this because you've been hinting since September?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that's the thing. We need help. We need to be shuffled along, you know. And I'm really, really keen on that book by, or whatever it was. I know how it works. But anything else while you're on then, Jill? Thank you for that.
No, that's it. Thank you.
Lovely. Good to have you on. Egg slicer. Is that the worst present of 2020 Christmas? Or can you do better? 0191 488 3188. Like to hear about some bests too. She obviously had a good time, Jill. She's done good. But tell me, give me the details. I want to know what it was. Even if it was from Anne Summers. You know what I'm saying? I always think Anne Summers is bought by men for women who they want the woman to, you know, tacky. Or fun, depending on which side of that you're on. All the women are going tacky. All the men are going fun. Right, here we go. Anita is with us in Bishop Auckland. Hello, Anita. Oh, hang on, that didn't work, and something's popped up on my screen that I didn't expect. And now my mouse isn't working. So it could be a long night in this regard. Bear with me a second. Can I get rid of that by finger touch? No. And, right. Hopefully Hollywood McShane is running in. Yes, he is. What's going on here? Dear. Yeah, the mouse isn't working either, so good luck with that, kiddo. He's done what all men do with a broken device. You slam it first. Are you going to switch it off and switch it on now? Or?
I think I'll have to.
There you go. I tell you, not even the mouse is happening. We've got a ghost in the machine. Yeah, we're going to be talking also to Richard Lawrence pretty soon too about what the Star Over Bethlehem was all about. I've already tried tapping the screen. I've already done that tappy thing. That didn't work either. It's just popped up for no apparent reason. Oh yeah, move all my stuff, why don't you? That didn't work either. Oh, but the mouse is back. That'll get rid of it. Oh, cancel. There you go. Then I can have the... Anita, sorry for the wait, lass. Hello.
Hello, my
There
darling.
you go. He's jiggled it. Happy days. Right. So,
Well, I'm glad you've jiggled it.
I have.
Winter.
It's always good for a jiggle after Christmas if you can move enough to jiggle. Anyway, so what was your best and worst then? Thank you for waiting.
My best present was coming downstairs, age 13.
Oh, wow.
My mum and dad had put Christmas paper over the windows into the living room.
Right.
So I burst through the living room door to find a full-size pool table with a big, huge red bow on it.
Oh, wow. Now, first of all, I've got a sneaky suspicion your dad wanted one too.
Well, my dad used to take me to the snooker clubs and pool clubs
There you
to
go.
play.
Yeah. Because they're so big, you just wouldn't for a child if it was not a passion of his. This is like how kids get train sets. It's like, I know what I'll get them, and it's a labour of love for themselves. But that's fantastic. Was the room big enough to... Because pool tables are geet big.
Yeah, it was big enough.
Wow.
The furniture moved to the outside of the room, up against the wall.
Forever, though? Oh,
Oh, no. They knocked 2 bedrooms into one for me and put it up there.
what a family you've got! That's the best family in the world!
And they were
Wow.
absolutely amazing.
Because I know somebody that actually said, I've always wanted a pool table and I'm going to not have a dining room anymore. I'm going to have a pool room instead. And then if ever we wanted to eat, we'll get some hardboard for the top of the pool table. Put like a tablecloth on it, saying out press on. Well, you cannot sit in a pool.
Well, no, you can't. But a good tip is get a ping pong table. You can seat 24 of them. I've done it.
Well, what he actually did was he got a full-size pool table, put it in his dining room, and then realised on both sides the room was too small and you couldn't put the stretch of the whole pool cue widthways. So whenever he had a shot from the sides, he had to play it downwards.
Never.
Hey, but it's better than not having a pool table at all. That's the thing. Hey, but that is the best present ever.
Yeah,
That's
it's
great
the one
present.
that I'll take to my grave.
Oh, fantastic.
Now then,
Mind you, you're going to need a hell of a big grave if you're taking that as well. But fair
they can just lay me out on the slab.
That could be the slab. It's made of slate or something, aren't they?
They are.
The base of the there you go. So what about the worst one then? If that was, because that's going to take some beating.
This was from my late husband.
Right.
I got a grow bag with a little red sticky bow on.
Right.
It was a rubbishy present, as I hate gardening.
Right. What was the thought process behind that then?
Well, he wanted tomatoes in the summer. And he thought if he got me the grow bag, I would grow them. There was no joined-up thinking to this. I hate gardening.
No. This is him getting a present for him.
Yes.
Ultimately. Blokes do this all the time. But you see, this is a bit like getting a woman vegetable steaming pans. In other words, she cannot cook veg in water. So I'll buy her some steaming pans and hope she can make a better job of me turnips and me sprouts. But no, men make that kind of decision all too frequently, and it's always a mistake. You gotta do what your dad did, and that was kind of a 50-50 present. But what a great one! What a great one! So you had a good year this year, I hope?
Oh, we always have an interesting year.
Not the same though, with people around and all of that kind of cuddly-wuddly Christmas.
Oh, we had a socially distanced Christmas meal.
Explain.
Husband, I've got an open plan downstairs. So hubby was a table in the kitchen part.
Best place
on
for
his own.
Right, good.
In the dining room, there was myself and the kids.
Right.
And in the living room, at another table and chairs, was my stepson and his mum.
Right. So you could shout.
Patio doors open.
So you could shout to each other. You can still have a loud chat with each other.
Yeah, with the patio doors open, the windows open, and everybody freezing to death.
Yeah, no such thing as one of those cosy ones when you bring out the special chairs of all indeterminate sizes.
Oh God, we had the outside table inside. We had the little table for the hubby on. We had the fires going, the heating going, a gale force wind blowing through the house. The food was cold. The conversation was stilted, and but the beer flowed and the fizz.
Well, you see, you got what it was. You got there eventually. That's the main thing.
Exactly.
Well done. You got to battle through it. It's almost like the beginning of any war campaign. Try and keep everybody balanced and happy at the same time. It's always a tricky thing, but you've done it. Well done.
Oh, I do it every year.
Good, lass. Thank you very much for coming on. Have a great New Year, darling. You take care.
And you, my darling.
Bye-bye. Isn't she great? Anita, hey, beat that for a top present. Full-size pool table, and we're going to knock down put 2 rooms into one so it can find somewhere to fit. What kind of family? Amazing. Now, taking you back, oh, blimey, I could go back so far. Eric von Daniken wrote a book called Chariot of the Gods, where it was first, everybody thought sacrilege and burn him and all this kind of stuff like you do with religious fanatics of any kind. However, he asserted that maybe the star over Bethlehem was in fact an alien craft. We've done a number of shows in our series Alien Jesus where we've asserted similar things and gone into all kinds of side issues. A man who is averse to this, and he's been talking about this for the longest time, Richard Lawrence, one of our favourites, is back on from his home. Hey, talk about social distance. We've made sure he was in London. Hello, Richard.
Hello, Alan. How are you?
I'm good, and Merry Christmas to you.
Very Merry Christmas to you and all your listeners.
Thank you for coming on. Let's get straight to the meat and potatoes of this one.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we know, essentially, that if you're looking for stuff written down, there's nothing that can be totally proven about the whole Christian story. There were a lot of fake messiahs before Jesus, and then Jesus was a messiah that fit the time and managed to spread, and 2,000 years later, here we are. What makes you fairly sure that star over Bethlehem wasn't an alien craft?
Yeah, I would just add to what you said, if I may, that, there are probably a lot of people who'd add to that depiction you've given, a whole variety of mystical and religious experiences through the centuries that people believe they've had to support the if you like, the existence of Jesus and the spirituality of Jesus. But I think you're right. I also am not a believer that every line of the Bible is true. Far from it. But I don't believe every line of a newspaper is true, or every line of a biography is necessarily true.
Right.
Of course. But what you do have in the Bible is a pattern. Not just the Bible, by the way. You've got exactly the same thing, but actually even more so in the Hindu scripts, which are even older. And I know that a lot of people now, they try and write off the Star of Bethlehem. They sort of say, oh, well, it was some astronomical configuration and, et cetera, astrological sign or what have you. But if you go by the story as given in the book of St. Matthew, it's very precise. 3 men, and apparently wise men, in other words, not idiots, discerning people, were led across the desert to a particular town and in a particular building in that town over which this object, which they had been following, hovered and stood. Now, that is undoubtedly, unarguably, a UFO. That's not an astronomical configuration of any kind at all. That can't do that. And it's not a star, because if it was a star, our planet would have been destroyed, consumed, a star being a sun. That's assuming a star could move in that way. So it's clearly, I think, I don't think von Daniken was any kind of religious fanatic. I met him once, but he had some interesting theories. I don't buy all his theories myself, but he came up with some interesting stuff. But way ahead of him was Dr. George King, by the way, who didn't put it out in the 70s. He put it out in the 1950s, which was extremely controversial thing to do in conservative Britain in the 1950s. And led a flying saucer rally in Trafalgar Square for the truth from governments, which has been proved, I think, this year, 2020, as never before. Perhaps, I don't know whether your listeners are aware, but probably because of COVID, it hasn't had the publicity it should have had, although, just to name one, our best-selling paper, The Sun, they had a whole full page on it yesterday, and it's been in many, many press coverage, but it's been blown out of the water. But getting back to the Star of Bethlehem, you have objects in the Old Testament and the New which can only be considered to be UFOs, and just to finish, which do have, according to that book, a spiritual connection.
And, I mean, the Bible itself has passages like a silver machine, wheels within wheels. And all of these things are there in the Bible, should you choose to. If people talk about the Bible and defend the Bible, and many of them without ever reading it, only hearing maybe what a preacher has told them in a church. And yet, if you look at the actual words, a glowing thing, and a man walked out of the light, and you couldn't describe UFOs and traditional thought on aliens entering Earth in any other way. We couldn't describe it better than that now, let alone back then.
And in fact, some of our descriptions, I think, have been extremely poor, such as the flying saucer is a very poor. And actually, though, I will say, I found in my research an 11th century sighting in Japan where they described it as being like a flying earthenware vessel. So even that isn't unique. But
but that story in Japan as well, it wasn't just one or two people that saw it. I mean, hundreds
you
and
know
hundreds.
it. You know a lot, Alan. I do realise I'm now talking to someone who knows this subject, and I have to be careful. But in terms of the Bible, I mean, you're right. Some of the descriptions are really good, and bearing in mind, of course, there was no space travel then, so it can't have been an Earth craft, it can't have been a satellite. They weren't necessarily familiar with the concept. So when, for example, a Lord came down to Mount Sinai, and the Lord gave the commandments on tablets to Moses, and he came in a cloud. That's how it looked.
Sure.
Or if it was Elijah, the one you referred to, of course, Ezekiel,
yes,
is a very vivid. I've had people, actually was doing a show across America not so long ago, and one of the callers phoned up and described their sighting. They didn't know the Ezekiel story, but they described it as like a moving wheel, which is very close to Ezekiel, a wheel within a wheel.
Absolutely.
And 4 beings came out of it.
Yes.
This isn't new at all. I bet you there's people listening now who've had experiences, who've had sightings, who don't really know what they are. But I'm hopefully the climate is changing and people can now talk about it.
It just seems that over the years, though, and I know it's difficult to talk about certain religions now with any degree of confidence because of an upheaval or threats against your own life. But to go back to the 50s, and you're talking about coming out and saying, oh, by the way, your religion might be made up and this might have happened. And for me, it's very important, especially this time of year, we say, follow your own beliefs. Whatever you choose to believe in your heart is real because you believe it. I absolutely believe that. But we should question everything, and I always say question this as well, too.
Yes, indeed, and I wouldn't expect anyone to take my word for anything I say. I mean, I wasn't far from where you're broadcasting. I was at Hull, at university in Hull, when I found the Aetherius Society, and I found the teachings in it, and I found the contacts of Dr. George King. But for me, they made complete sense because it explained. I was on a spiritual quest anyway. I wasn't really on a UFO quest at the time. But it all sort of came together. Yes, so Jesus came from another world. Moses came from another world, but so did Krishna. It's very unifying, actually, when Buddha, some of the great, not all, but some of the great intelligences who've come to our world, and who would be described in Hindus' writing, for example, as divine incarnation. And so is Jesus described as a divine incarnation, actually.
Sure.
Some of these are extraterrestrial beings who've seen fit to be born through the womb of Earth women, and that's really what the arrival of the Star of Bethlehem was all about. It was at the time of the birth of a great intelligence, I believe, from another world. This doesn't, in case anyone's offended by that, doesn't undermine the beauty of the teachings of Jesus at all.
No, of course not.
No.
The thing that people mistake, though, anyone who questions the story, and you've got to remember that depending where you are on Earth and the slice of Christianity that you've got, because there's hundreds of different faiths within a faith.
Yes.
They're all different. So it's which story do you believe in your heart, if you believe any. And we should also remember, though, that people will not you know yourself that as soon as you criticise any faith, all the other faiths will join with that faith to be against you.
Yeah, I mean, this
That's
is what again,
happens.
I really was attracted by in the Atheist Society, just to name one, is the fact that it doesn't do that. I mean, no one's saying, that Hinduism is wrong, or that Christianity, or there's one and only way, or that we're the one and only way, and you can't believe the others. There's great wisdom and truth, but it's all part of a cosmic plan. And what I do find strange is some people who will say they believe every single word of the Bible and are, great advocates of that religion, that traditional Orthodox religion, they will also start questioning things like the Star of Bethlehem and try and explain that away, even though it's in print. And they'll sort of try and explain away now the virgin birth, which isn't unique. It's not a unique claim, the Immaculate Conception. And they'll try and explain away the resurrection, even some people who profess that religion. So whereas I accept all those three things, but I also think Jesus came from another planet.
And it is not to take anything away from the example set in the Bible that many people have spent their lives living by. And unfortunately, it also, any faith brings with it war and pestilence and all that other stuff too. But the bottom line is, it's a faith that's in many people's hearts, and why not? If they choose to believe that, I'm not going to go against them. I'll live and let live. I think that was also in the book.
Yeah, I think it's the man-made, don't you? It's the sort of man-made construction of the religion, though, that brings about the war and the conflict.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you go back to sort of I have a great interest, as you know, in mysticism, and I look back to the sort of Middle Ages and that period when you had, the Muslim faith, the Christian faith, you had the Crusades, you had the persecution of the Jews going on in certain parts, and yet the mystics in all three of those religions were working together. The Kabbalists, the Sufis, the Gnostics, they didn't see the division. And I think if you go beyond the Orthodox and get to the mystical root of things, it's all one. I mean, it's tremendous similarity between the teachings of Jesus, actually, and the teachings of Buddha.
Absolutely. And if you go back further in the Chinese faiths, a lot of the Old Testament stories happened before any Christians wrote them down. The Chinese were writing about them hundreds and hundreds of years earlier than that. So, and they're all the same stories, just with obviously different names. And instead of an ark, you had a big fish with all the animals of the earth.
Yeah, I mean, the story of the flood is generic. I mean, it's even in certain primitive cultures, this ancient happening, this destruction, which I would personally believe to equate to earlier civilizations, Atlantis, Lemuria, probably Atlantis, which had discovered nuclear weapons. And those are described, by the way, in some detail. I think you can see it in Sodom and Gomorrah, but you can see it very clearly in the Ramayana and the Mahabharata. The weaponry that is described there has a lot of parallels. And then you had this flood, which came as a result of this cataclysm. And, that, again, all ties in with mystical thought from... What's also beautiful about, I find, mystical thinkers from various cultures is that they've come to the same conclusions from totally different sources, which shows there are universal truths if you look deeply enough into them.
No, absolutely. We're going to have to dive into a piece of music, Richard, but we thank you kindly for that. The bottom line is, for those people that are looking daggers at the radio now, because, as I say, I think it's really important, especially at this time of year when faith is so important to so many people, and it is a time when all of that has certainly been tested with the last 12 months, that you just keep an open mind about things, because the bottom line is, the Bible will always be the piece of work that it is, setting the right example right the way down the line. The differences are only in how it came to be rather than what it is now.
And the answers are within us. We can find them if we set about it, and that's a personal choice. I mean, it's whether people want to spend time doing that. Personally, I think that's why we're here. To try and get to the bottom of things and to try and understand the purpose of life. But and it's fine. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. But if they want to pursue, the Atheist Society or the things I'm saying, They're very welcome. We're not out to convert anybody. We're just out to share knowledge and information with people if they're interested.
Just have a look. Richard, as always, been a joy. Stay well and have a great 2021.
Thanks very much.
Thank you, Richard. All the best. Bye-bye. We love Rich. He's strong views. You don't have to agree with him. What do you think about that? Is it likely, or has that been as much a flight of fancy as religion in general is across the board, whatever religion you talk about? But they all have the same route. Do you follow that route? Do you ask the questions? Or do you just believe? It's up to you. You've got a choice.
The main stories this hour. The boss of the firm behind the Oxford AstraZeneca coronavirus vaccine says they've discovered the winning formula. Reports suggest it could make the jab even more effective and it could be approved and rolled out within days. Professor Peter Openshaw is an expert in experimental medicine. He says it would be a huge development.
We could greatly accelerate the vaccination program which we have in the UK, which is already, ahead of any other major country, bar Bahrain and Israel. Our vaccination rate is about 4 times that of the US.
The Education Secretary's reportedly told colleagues he faces an enormous battle to keep secondary schools open in January. According to the Sunday Telegraph, Gavin Williamson has expressed concern that the government could cave to mounting pressure. The backlog of lorry drivers waiting in Dover to cross the Channel has been reduced from around 3,000 on Christmas Day to less than 200 today. Queues developed at the border after France required people to test negative for coronavirus, including the fast-spreading variant which is in the UK. The FBI says they've used DNA to identify the man they say is behind a Christmas Day bombing in central Nashville. Officials believe Anthony Quinn Warner died in the explosion and was working alone, but his motivation still isn't clear. In sport, Tottenham are without a win in 4 Premier League games. They conceded late in drawing 1-1 at Wolves, missing the chance to go third. Spurs boss Jose Mourinho says the manner of the result is hard to take.
Scoring a goal in the first minute and having the control of the game for the rest of it, and having 89 minutes to score more goals is to feel frustrated.
Leaders Liverpool were also held 1-1 at home to strugglers West Brom. And Noel Rodgers says he feels numb following the death of his mother, who'd been battling Alzheimer's. The American musician tweeted a photo of himself alongside Beverly Goodman, adding, "I breathed some of my first breaths with her, and she breathed some of her last with me." From Sky News, I'm Tim Jones.
What a damn shame. Alan Robson with you. This is Alan Robson's Night Owls, of course, on Greatest Hits Radio Northeast. Thank you very much for joining us. Spread the word. Let's get as many of you on air as we possibly can. And we are heading to Berwick upon the Tweed, where we find Maddie. Hi, Maddie.
Hi, Alan. How are you doing?
I'm good, my love. Thank you very much for calling. Best and worst, I gather, has brought you upon us. Do tell.
Well, I've got the best, the worst, and then the best again.
Okay, go for it.
Well, when I was 8, my mum and dad bought me, it's the active ballerina Cindy doll.
Oh, right.
And I was very specific with them. I was like, I don't care about getting anything else. I just want that ballerina Cindy doll. And they had to have the brown hair.
Right. Why was that so important?
I don't know. I've got no idea. I just know that when I was a kid, out of all of them, there was a blonde one, an auburn one, and the dark-haired one. And out of all of them, it had to be the
dark-haired one. Gotcha. So you got your ballerina with ballet shoes and tutus and all the necessary?
Yep, and I was absolutely over the moon. And for years after that, that was my best Christmas ever. It was never surpassed.
Fantastic. So what about worst then? Where do you stand on that?
Well, the worst, it just falls in line with everybody else. My husband bought me an iron.
Oh, and you managed not to hit him with it?
I did, but I tell you, I had a face on it like that witch from that TV show, Charlton and the Wheelies. Like glittered teeth, shaking my head, you know.
Oh, dear.
But we get back to the best. He redeemed us there last year,
right,
when he presented me for Christmas the same ballerina doll.
Oh, wow. So you managed to find one somewhere on the net, I presume.
Yeah, he'd been on and he's getting it exactly the same doll. And the thing is, anybody that's into Cindy dolls knows that in the 70s, the one had a sad face.
Right.
She had a really sad face and she was really sought after and pins in her arms and stuff. So honestly, I was in tears. I was in a mess when I seen this doll. It was the best thing ever.
What happened to the first one?
I have no idea. Now, the thing is with my mum, she's just one of these people, she would just throw stuff out and kill you.
Oh, that's awful, right.
So I've only got, from when I was a kid, the only 2 toys I've managed to keep was my 1968 Fisher-Price Snoopy, pull-along Snoopy dog. It was a wooden thing.
Right.
A basset hound. And my Tiny Tears doll.
Right.
I have no idea what happened to this dog, the Cindy dog.
The one thing that I've never understood is the parent that just says, oh, the Ben's now 8-year-old, 9-year-old, 12-year-old, pick a time. They're now that old, they'll not want their toys anymore. I'll just bundle them up and give them to usually a charity shop or a jumble sale or something.
That's it. That's exactly what happens. I mean, my husband's family, he's been away.
Right.
And he came home. And I mean, he was about 18, 19 at the time. But he had a massive collection of Legos.
Right.
Like all the Star Wars stuff, you know, the whole lot.
Yeah.
And anyway, he came back to find out his mum had given it all away to, like, family members and stuff. And he said to them, well, when you're done playing with it, I'll have it back. Well, he never saw it any of it ever again. So he was absolutely devastated by that, you see. So
yeah, I remember that when I was little, blimey, I say littler than I am now. I was about 14 or 15, and I remember I was having a few rows because it was the teenager. I'm going to slam the door over every decision you make. That's that period of your life when you just go radgy for no apparent reason. And I was being radgy a lot. And one thing that I knew that I was always going to keep, I had a pile of board games. You know, yes, Monopoly and Scrabble and all the obvious ones, but loads of others, like the one that whose name I always keep forgetting, where you had to conquer the world. There was a magnetic robot that just used to turn around and answer the questions on the cards. I had loads of these things, and I thought, I'm just going to keep them because whatever family in times to come that I have, everybody messes around with those kind of games. And if you don't have them, you end up having to buy the damn things again, and they're 20, 30 quid a pop. And I came back and they said, you're too old for board games now, so I've given them all to. And it was just some bloke down the street, and I'm thinking, what's he going to do? He's living on his own. How's he going to play with this fella? Buy games? Cheeky notes. But, I just think that we should be allowed to keep our toys for as long as we want. It just seems to make sense to me, that whole thing. Anything else while you're on, Maddie?
Well, I just wanted to touch on the religious thing.
Yeah.
Me personally, I believe anything's possible, but I think there needs to be like a definition between religion and spirituality. Because, like, when I was a kid, I used to go to Sunday school every week.
Yeah.
And I used to get really, I don't know, it used to really bother me. You get all these people coming in, dressed up to the nines, and they'd sit in the same pews for the service.
Yeah.
And you'd get visitors coming in, sitting, you know, because obviously they don't know.
Sure.
Yeah, they sit down. And then these people, locals, would come in and they'd turn them out of their seats. And that really used to bother me because I'm like... You can't own a seat in the church.
No.
You know, and then as a kid, you know, you would hang around the corner shop and that. And I would hear these same people calling other people blind.
Yeah.
As a kid, you know, kids, you hear everything as a kid.
Absolutely. Sometimes it's your own parents as well, which is...
Well, that's it. I just couldn't get my head around how people could be like that and then go up to the church on Sunday but I wouldn't melt in their mouth. So when I was 8, I turned round and I refused to go back to church or Sunday school or anything. I was like, this is not for me. So I'm not religious in any way, shape or form.
Right.
But things like I often go down into Durham Cathedral.
Right,
And yet I'll go in there, and I'm not a religious person at all, and yet I'll go in there and I just get this thing that happens to me. I can't explain it, and it's just, I just get really, really emotional, and I just can't explain it to anybody at all. It's just something that comes over me whenever I'm in this. And I've been all over. I was nipping, like York Minster. And, if I'm around somewhere, I'll pop in because they've got beautiful architecture and interesting places. But,
fabulous history, most of these places too. I feel the same way about a beach. It sounds, especially up there, Spittle, near where you are. I just go and you just look and you see this magnificent thing, not just the beach, the sea, the sky, everything around you, and you kind of go, whatever created this is amazing. And it's whatever you choose to believe created it,
Yeah, well, this is it. You've got to do it. It's a spiritual thing. It's not so much of a religious thing. It's a spiritual thing,
No, it's a lovely way of looking at it. Thank you for sharing, Maddie. Great to hear from you as always. Thank you, darling.
Take care. Bye.
You too. Bye-bye. What do you think? Is that the same? I think people get a genuine sense of peace in churches. I think they're magnificently built, incredibly amount of money spent on them, and in amazing tribute to their faith. I suppose historically you've got to ask where they got the money from, and did the people that gave that money actually want it used for that purpose? But that's a whole other argument right there. We're off to Finland. My goodness. Is it Helsinki? I div not know, but Ian is in Finland. Hello, Ian.
Hello, Alan. How are you doing?
I'm good. Whereabouts are you in Finland?
Not so far outside of Helsinki.
Right. This isn't, I tried to find Santa and just missed him because he was busy that day.
Well, usually this time of year I'm in Lapland working with Santa, but kind of tourism's not really a thing right now, so nobody's going there. So the business is kind of drying up there. So.
He's socially distancing. You'll never get to catch up with him. That's it.
He's socially distancing. Yeah. I mean, but I think he still was able to get out and do his rounds. So.
Hey, so what are you doing in Finland, really?
Well, I mean, living life. I mean, the first reason why I come to Finland was because I was really interested in going to live with the Sami native people in the Arctic.
Wow.
That was kind of like my first call in, and then I just found that life is pretty nice here.
Right. No, I can. I've spent a fair bit of time in another of the Scandinavian countries. I've Norway. Spent an awful lot of time in Norway. Been to Finland on a couple of occasions, to Lapland as well.
Right.
With respect to the pace of life, it's completely different.
Yeah, it's a different world.
It is, absolutely.
It's a different world.
One
of my favorite things about that you have here is like you have this thing called like lavu, which is like it's basically just like a public shelter.
Right.
So, and it's all stocked with firewood, and it's just free, and, actually some places in Lapland, you can just, I know some people, they spend their whole winter basically just walking or skiing in different lava to lava, and they spend one night there, and then they basically cut a bit of wood, add a bit of wood, and then they go on to the next one, and it's totally free, and you can, it's like that.
That sounds great. I mean, what's the situation with the whole COVID virus thing in Finland? I mean, were you hit badly with it? I know some of the Scandinavian countries got off very, very lightly.
Yeah, pretty light here. I think it's still less than 400 deaths.
Wow, that's amazing.
It's been, and it's like, and it's like total freedom here. I haven't had any kind of infringements on my freedom. We've had festivals and events and dances, and then there's nothing. I'm not compelled to wear a mask anywhere.
We're even more envious now. There you go, right there.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know because actually we were like the second country in Europe to get a confirmed case. So I don't know. I don't want to go into that.
No, you've obviously handled as a nation. You've obviously handled it pretty damn well. So. That's tremendous. Well done, you all. So, what's the main point of your call tonight then? Best and worst gifts, I gather.
I've got some best and worst gifts, and I also got quite inspired by like your last caller, and also that interview you did there with what was his name, Richard Lawrence.
Yeah,
that's really nice to hear you talking about things like Atlantis and Lemuria. That's really fascinating. And
it is.
Talking about the whole Bible thing, and like I was raised as Catholic, and then I really rebelled against it.
Why?
And I remember.
Why did you turn?
From the start, just being kind of, I don't know, I felt kind of forced into it through school.
Right.
And I remember when I was sharing the story about this Jesus, this wonderful character, and then these evil Romans that killed him, and then I was like, but this is a Roman Catholic school, so are we the evil empire? Like, what's going on here? And that was the sort of question that I had when I was around about 8 or something. And then around about 14, I almost got kicked out of senior school for arguing with my religious teacher.
Right.
And it was like, and it wasn't even that I disbelieved it. I actually ended up arguing with him because it was one of the most engaging subjects that I actually look forward to. And he'd come in one day having a bad day and didn't want to teach us, and he just wanted us to copy out Bible quotes. And I was like, no, like we were doing something interesting. I want to, and then it just ended up. So, I got quite rebellious about it. And now I look back and I'm like, I'm not like, I don't think of myself as Catholic, but I can resonate with Christian, right? Because it's like when you just look at this guy and this story, like I don't see anything that guy did that isn't like just a beautiful way to live life, and it's quite ironic that he's like the biggest rebellious anarchist, anti-government, anti-authority, and these are all things that I really kind of. I admire all those sorts of things.
No, that's good. Okay, dive in. Best and worst gifts. I'm glad you chipped in on that. Thank you.
Yeah, so best. Well, I have some from when I was young and some from when I'm older. So when I was young, the best ones were like my dad. He went really did a lot of work one year to get me a Tracy Island with all of the
Thunderbirds.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, he went. Yeah, I think he moved heaven on earth to get that. But he was able to get it. And another year, he made me. He converted the spare bedroom of the house into like this electric train set. He built this huge. It was fantastic. I was very young, but I can still remember having a lot of fun in that room.
And I would bet that you had an awful lot of fun, usually with your dad as well, because I bet he was totally into it as well.
He was pretty fun with a lot of things.
Good.
And then worst, like I must have been around about 10, give or take a year or two.
Uh-huh.
And I just remember like all of my presents were so crappy that year that I woke up on Boxing Day, and I was just like, I'm just gonna sit in my bedroom and play on my computer games that I had already. And around about like 9:30 or something, I just heard like a knock on the door, and it was my mother, and she's like, Ian, are you awake? I was like, yeah, I'm awake. And she's like, oh, Merry Christmas. What do you mean, Merry Christmas? It's Boxing Day. She's like, no, Ian, it's Christmas. Merry Christmas. Come open your presents. And you know what, Alan? I dreamt waking up, like I'm opening up all my presents, having my dinner, going visiting my grandparents, and going back to bed, and then woke up thinking.
You thought it was Boxing Day?
Yeah.
Wow.
So my worst presents were just in some dreams.
The bad dream. Said you were going to mention something that you'd got more recently as well. What was that?
Yeah, well, I've been traveling a lot, right, and I've lost count of the amount of times where I've been, staying with people when I've been on the road at Christmas, and they've given me like a ceramic cup, and you don't want to be like, but it's just like every time I'm like, well, I mean, what? I can't really do anything with this. I can't really carry it. I can't travel with it, but you don't want to be ungrateful, So it's like.
Thanks very much. Thanks very much for that. I will eventually leave it somewhere where you can't say I've left it, because you cannot carry it around with you, otherwise it'll just get broken.
Yeah, basically that's about it.
Crazy. Hey.
And then this year I got what might be either the best or the worst. I'm not sure how it's going to turn out, but somebody gave me a Kama Sutra chocolate. So I'm like, okay. Now, do I just eat this myself, or do I actually like try to practice?
When you say Kama Sutra, it's not for insertion anywhere, is it?
It's not for insertion anywhere. It's just they're all the chocolate is molded in shapes of different positions, and then obviously they're quite adventurous.
I suppose is it educational? Are any there that you didn't know about?
Some that I didn't try. But I knew about them. We'll see how it works out. But it was really beautiful chocolate because it was actually raw cacao that was sealed from Ecuador to Sweden, and then like made into the chocolate bar there. So it's really like very, very beautiful artisanal.
And you never know.
We'll see how that works out.
You might get a chance to practice that position in 2021. Fingers crossed. Thanks, Ian.
I hope so.
Great to hear from you, man.
Yeah, take care. Merry Christmas.
All the best. Bye-bye. Merry Christmas indeed. Finland. Great hearing from people in Finland. Ian there, loving a different way of life, and why not? Now, I haven't given you your first clue, and I am aware of this. We have a new competition. Its name will change every week. This week, I'm calling it Link a Dink a Dink a Dink a Doo. So it is 4 things that are all linked together. You've got to work out why. The first clue, this: euros, pounds and dollars. Euros, pounds and dollars. That's your first clue. Okay, 3 more clues to come. Then you've got to tell me what link all 4 answers together. But before that, let's talk to George Michael. You are one of the few British stars to really break America. Is it important to you, even after all the hassle you've had there?
I care to the degree that I absolutely feel as though there are about 1 million people that actually have really stood by me in America, and I know how much they would like me to do some promotion and for the music that I've been making for the past 12 or 13 years that they haven't heard in America. I know as fans they love the idea that I'll be kind of, revived over there. And I'm going to try. I'll have a go and see if it's going to be an uphill struggle against homophobia and right-wing thinking, then who needs it? But if I can avoid that and don't feel I have to compromise too much in order to sell records, then I think, this time we could... the honest truth is I'm strong enough to take it on again. I've felt there have been so many things in the past 10, 12 years bearing down on me in life that just to fight what I would say was a kind of campaign of... an anti-George Michael campaign in America that saw to it that I had no radio play and nothing but negative press. You can easily overcome it just by appearing, doing the occasional good live performance that no one can deny kind of thing. And I just didn't have the energy to do it. I was too... I just thought, on top of everything that's going on in my life, why do I need to come up with this small-mindedness,
Alan Robson's Night Owls.
The phone-in that gets you talking.
Greatest Hits Radio.
And do not forget that tonight is the last time that our top prize will be a mug and also a copy of Grizzly Tales from Northumbria. It's the last time that book is going to be available as a giveaway. It's still going to be available in shops and stores, of course, but last time on the show tonight, that and our Night Owl mug, which wasn't here again, but somebody's had it away. Right, so there you go. Let's get talking to people. And we begin with Sue, who is in Benton. Hello, Sue.
Hi.
Hello, darling. What can we do for you tonight?
Oh, I was only replying to a comment about somebody being invited to a friend's house and turning them down because of the COVID.
Yes.
And getting slated over it.
Absolutely.
I was just saying, 6 days notice is enough for anybody. If you're going to feed half a dozen people and one drops out, it's not a lot of food.
I can understand it, because when they're saying, oh, well, you're going to have this 5 or 6 days where you can mix and you can match and you can bring your friends. As soon as that was said, I thought, there's something going to pull the rug out of everybody will make plans now and give it a week. And give it a week. We've changed our mind. The numbers are going up. We can't trust it. It could end up hurting you, and don't take the chance. I can understand people saying, oh, hang on, I think I might as well just stay home this year. And I don't see, if you're a proper friend, you wouldn't take umbrage over that.
No, that's what I said. If you were a friend, you would understand, especially when you've got children and family and you don't want to pass it on to anybody else.
No, for sure.
And if you've been shielding for 6 months or whatever, that's the last thing you want to do, and a friend should understand that. That was a bit crass, but there you go.
I do think that there's friends and there's people you know. And I think they're really just people he knows. I can't put that down. A friend would verbally at least put an arm around you and say, hey, it's not a big deal. We'll catch you next year. Hopefully we'll all be still well then, and we'll all meet and we'll have a proper party when it's all over and done with. Why would you beat somebody and swear at them and all the other stuff that came in with it? It's very sad indeed. What else you got for us then, Sue, while you're on?
I was interested in the discussion about aliens as well.
Yeah. Where
do
you stand on all of that malarkey then?
Well, how many planets are in our universe? Millions.
Millions and millions.
And the chances of there being life on just one of them must be bordering on zilch. How far up the evolution scale? They might consider us quite unintelligent. The damage we do to the planet and
each other.
And wars, etc., in the name of religion, or egomaniacs like Trump and idiots like Boris, dare I say it. But...
Yeah, I mean, where do you stand with religion then? If you're an open mind, obviously, but do you have any religious beliefs? Because we're all raised with it, aren't we?
I'm a Christian. Right. I don't necessarily believe in that you have to pray in buildings. Apparently God preached on a mountainside in the open air. I'm a Christian. But if you believe in God, then you also must believe in the devil.
Right. Because the devil was a late addition to the Bible. He wasn't in the original one. He came in about 400 years later when they wanted to get people to church, so they thought we'll scare them there by saying, if you don't come to us, you're going down there and you'll burn at the fork of sin.
There's also the other side to it, religion as well. There's an argument long been around that it's just organised cultures keeping the working class down.
We're keeping people controlled, a lot of people say. Yeah. But you're happy with your faith, right? You certainly sound happy enough with it.
I'm ambivalent.
Right.
I will listen to both sides of the coin. If somebody can show me concrete proof, brilliant. If they can't but can come up with a different argument, brilliant.
Right.
To show me proof either way.
Yeah, but you see, there's no proof of the Bible story in written form anywhere, other than what happened 400 years later when the Bible was written. So why do you believe that when there's a lot of other stuff that has proof that, that you could have followed?
I don't say I'm believing. I'm a Christian in works, charitable works,
Right.
etc., etc., not necessarily the religious.
All right.
I consider myself a Christian in what I do and what I believe in.
Yes.
Which is helping people, helping neighbours, blah, 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 blah.
The values of Christianity.
Not necessarily the religion itself.
Right. No, there's an awful lot of people that do. Because we all, when I was little, I think I was described as Church of England. And they said, do you go to church? No. Oh, well, you'll be Church of England then. And if you're Catholic, you'd probably go to church. If you say you're a Protestant, you'd probably go to church. Or a Methodist. If you say Church of England, it usually meant you're one of the ones that don't go to church. And I would nod and say that. Yeah, that's pretty much true. Although I did want to go to Sunday school because they had kites. Hey, if they got kites, you're in. I'm in. Kites, come on. And there's kids now listening to this saying, what the hell's a kite?
What's a kite?
And no, it was just a rubber ring, really. And they also had bean bags for chucking at you, and if they hit you, it didn't hurt. Hey, it was
I also went in the brownies and the gauge, but...
Oh, did you? Great. I was always trying to get in the Scouts, but the first day I went, I got into a fight with somebody, so they wouldn't have me back in the church hall. Hey-ho, kind of win them all. Anything else while you're on then, Sue?
No, thank you.
Bless you, darling. Thanks for your views. Appreciate it. Thank you. Have a good year. Bye-bye. There you go. Sue and mixed Christian. See, this. Sometimes I feel that if you have a faith, whatever it is, Hindu, Muslim, Taoist, Jewish, whatever, sometimes you feel like you have to almost apologize. You never have to apologize for what you are with me. You can be what you want to be. Anything at all. Knock yourself out. The fact that you believe anything, hopefully then you question everything as well, from within and without. Question it all. The truth's probably in there somewhere. It's like life. It's like the whole COVID thing. The truth's probably in there somewhere. Just, it's not there. You know, I quite like the truth to be right there. I like to know what I'm dealing with. And I'm comfortable with my faith because I can prove mine completely. Because I just believe in nature, none of the religious things. And do you say that believing in nature is a religion? No. I just believe in nature. The sun's going to come up tomorrow, hopefully, if Storm Bella will let it. And the moon will be up in the night time. And it'll repeat probably the following day. And the tides will come in. And the grass will grow after the frost. And it'll be a rebirth round about Easter time. Nothing to do with religious figures. Just the world is reborn. And we start again for another year. Spring, summer, autumn, and winter. And I believe in all of that. And there's proof that actually happens. So I'm in. However, I'm open to all the others. If another one comes around that is like knocks me socks off with its truth, then I'll probably run with it. 0191 488 3188. Oh, hang on. Do you remember the story of Ty? Ty was the lad who was going to try and follow in Lewis Hamilton's footsteps. He was already, frankly, a racing driver now. And Chris from Doncaster told us all about it. He's back. Hi, Chris.
Good evening.
Hello, I'm doing well. How are you doing? What did you get Ty for Christmas? A set of new tyres?
Merry Christmas to you, mate, and the team. Oh, wow. What a Christmas. What a Christmas. Oh,
tell us everything.
Seriously. Oh, mate, honestly, it's been absolutely... This is like the best story ever. We've got the press involved, everything. It's mega.
What's happened?
Right. So, during lockdown 2...
Yeah.
We had a local construction company that came on board and said, yeah, we like this guy. I'm going to follow him. I think he's got a bit of a future.
Right.
Got him a new, sprayed helmet. I mean, they're like £1,500. You know, it's not cheap stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's, you know, a cadet style helmet, so they have to be a certain way. They then they sent an email. I knew about it. He didn't. An email afterwards said, we would absolutely love to buy Ty a new go-kart. He's got to move up to junior class.
Right.
So it's like the next step up.
Uh-huh.
So it is a huge step.
I would imagine, though, that the cost of those things, it's not like we can get one for 50 quid at Halfords.
Oh, you've got no idea. I mean, this thing's like £5,500.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I mean, that's way more than... Yeah.
But they're prepared to buy him a new cart and a 1,500 quid helmet. Hell's teeth, they must think an awful lot of him.
Well, hats off to Room Construction. You know, they're a Doncaster business.
Right.
I actually worked with the MD, with Wilmot Dixon, you know, a big company, Kia and what have you. And he set up his own company, local company in Yorkshire. And
yeah, but I mean, at this time with COVID and all of the financial constraints on business in general, for them to go out on a limb for the bin now is amazing.
It's unbelievable. Honestly, we were all in tears. I couldn't believe it. We were literally all in tears. Christmas Day, he gets a little letter from Roebuck Construction. He's got a picture of a go-kart. And it's like, right, we're going to buy you a go-kart because, you know, you're moving up and it's so much money.
And also, if you were trying to raise that money, that's a battle. But for somebody to take that weight off your shoulders so you can just set him free to do his damnedest the next level up, that's a tremendous relief, I'm sure.
Well, I've been out there, last time I was on, you know, I was out of work since June.
Yeah.
So pretty much, you know, everything is gone. You know, I was saving money for his car. To, you know, when he was old enough to drive a car, drive lessons, or, you know, maybe uni, whatever. You know, I had that savings account gone. You know, 6 months out of work.
You're not alone. This is the life of so many people around the place.
100%. And there's millions of people out there that are suffering so bad, and you know we're just honoured, totally honoured. And there was 2 other people that are massive fans, followers, always on there. You've got Glenn from Prosecco Lodge, who, you know, commissioned an amazing picture drawing for Ty for Christmas. And you had somebody else who doesn't want to be mentioned. He sent some money just to get a few bits for him for Christmas.
No, it's you've got a lovely circle of support for the lad, and let's hope in a few years we're reading about him every day in the press, like we have with Lewis Hamilton recently. Hey, but thank you for coming on, keeping us up to date. Love to Ty, love to the family, and you stay well, Chris. Great to hear from you again, man.
Big shout out to BTC Yorkshire Army.
Right.
They're sending some great stuff as well. They're backing him, another young Carter, 8-year-old, and they set up the whole group on Facebook just to, you know, raise funds to help Ty and Lucas. So
it's all good.
You know,
it's all good. Thanks again, Chris. Happy New Year.
Cheers, Alan.
All the best, mate. Bye-bye. A proud man, and when he's not able to do anything else, I think getting a real kick out of everything that Ty's doing. DJ John is back in Waka. Hello, DJ John.
Hi, Alan. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everybody at Great Hits Radio.
Thank you very much. Thanks for coming on. How are you? Did you have a nice Christmas?
I'm full, Alan. I've been eating turkey and I've had mince pies. I can't have any more.
That's fantastic.
I've had a nice time. I've never been out and I've spent time with the family, and I've I've had turkey, I've had all kinds there. I can't eat any more. I kept me a little bit of air for you tonight to talk to you.
Right, well, I'm glad you took the chance to give us a call. Thank you for that.
I've got you some good jokes. And I have the votes on the listeners, Alan, to see what me jokes are like tonight.
Okay.
I come in to make everybody smile.
Come on, then, let's have them.
How does Santa make his mince pies?
I don't know. How does Santa make his mince pies?
Elf raising flour.
Elf raising flour! What's your next one then? Come on.
How do dogs pay for their Christmas food?
I do not know. How do dogs pay for their Christmas food?
Barclay card.
Oh, barking cards.
Hey, Alan, three men on Christmas Day walk into a pub. You would have thought one would have seen it, wouldn't you?
Hey! Nice.
Why does Santa need an umbrella?
I don't know. Why does Santa need an umbrella?
For all his reindeers.
Oh, for his reindeer. Oh.
Why does a frog do it if it's called?
Oh, hang on a second. I didn't quite hear all of that. Is that what happens when a frog and his car breaks down?
What does a frog do if his car breaks down?
Does he get towed?
Yeah.
Hey! Oh, come on. They're so bad, even I'm getting them now. Okay, keep going.
What type of room has no windows or doors?
What type of room has no windows or doors? I don't know.
A mushroom.
A mushroom!
Dogs can't take X-rays, Alan.
Dogs can't take X-rays?
On Christmas Day. Cat scan.
Oh, cat scan. Oh, dear.
I went to the zoo and saw a loaf of bread. Bread.
Uh-huh.
It was bread in captivity.
Oh, dear. Hey.
What happens when you step on a grape?
Does it let out a little wine? Come on.
Have you got one for me, Alan?
No, I haven't. No, well, I could say 2 teddy bears in the attic. Which one's in the army?
The one on the tank.
There you go, you say. Brilliant.
Hey, Alan, come out the vote on the listeners and see what it sounded like, okay?
Okay, here's another one. 2 teddy bears in the airing cupboard. Which one's a Scotsman?
I don't know.
The one on the pipes. Come on! Thanks, DJ John. Bye.
Thank you very much, Alan. Take care. Merry Christmas,
No
everybody.
worries. All the best. Bye-bye. DJ John is a genius. We love DJ John. Going to be talking to Chris in Hexham very, very soon. But before that, let's get another superstar on. We've heard from George Michael. I was chatting to superstar Alexander O'Neill. Pretty special. And I was talking to him about, well, stuff he was frightened about. And we're talking about religion a bit. It all kind of got into that more than just a little bit.
What are you frightened of? You got any irrational fears?
What scares me the most is me leaving this earth and not being the best Alex that I could be, not having fulfilled the things that God has placed for me to do.
Right.
To whom much is given, much is expected.
Yeah.
And so that scares me sometimes because I fall short, and I try to be the best. So therefore, I just try to be the best person that I can be each and every day, to try to just stay on that, because that concerns me more so now, my relationship with God, and trying to be the best person, trying to hopefully get past any vice, anything that I got going that would stop me from being the best person I can be.
Well, that sounds great, but it also makes me wonder, if you're this worried about it, you must have been a bit of a bad lad earlier on in your life, then.
Well, it's not a worry. It's not something that I'm obsessed with, you know. I mean, I live each day for itself. I don't, yesterday's gone, I don't deal with yesterdays, and I don't deal with too many tomorrows, you know.
Right.
I try to stay in the moment. But before, I used to live like that, you know, living yesterdays, living tomorrows, and stuff like that. Now, it's just one day at a time.
Yeah.
So it's not that I'm worried about it, but, you know, I mean, I have the thing that it's not that I've been such a bad person, is I've been a squanderer. Okay.
Right.
And I haven't done a lot of things that I probably should have done in my life and in my career, because back in the day, I lived like every night. My motto was every night is Saturday night. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
And that's the way I tried to live.
Uh-huh.
But now, look, I have to grow up sometime. When I grow up, I want to be just like you, Alan, okay? Just like you.
Well, that's good. Bless you. Thank you very much.
The main stories this hour. The number of people in the UK being vaccinated against COVID-19 could increase significantly in January if a new jab gets approved. It's hoped the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine will get the go-ahead in the coming days. It's being reported people who work in schools could be moved to the front of the queue to receive a vaccine after a spike in infections among students. Head teacher Alana Gay thinks it's the right thing to do.
We have continued to have schools open. We've been on the front line, and we are aware that across schools we've had absences, etc., because we've had this rotation of people who are coming into contact with teenagers and students who are able to pass the disease on.
A 15-year-old boy is in a critical condition in hospital after being hit by a police car in Greater Manchester. Officers collided with the teenager in Stockport last night. The London Ambulance Services revealed Boxing Day was one of its busiest ever. It says demand has risen sharply over the past weeks, with call handlers taking around 8,000 calls a day. A US Army sergeant's been charged with murder following a shooting at a bowling alley in Illinois, which left 3 people dead. Another 3 were wounded, including 2 teenagers in Rockford. Police believe it was a random attack. In sport, Liverpool missed the chance to go 5 points clear at the top of the Premier League. The leaders went ahead, but were held 1-1 by strugglers West Brom at Anfield. Manager Jurgen Klopp says they've only got themselves to blame for the result.
They had already in the first 5 minutes of the second half, they had like 3 counterattacks. We gave them easy, simple corners. I don't think too many free kicks, but corners, too many. And that was actually the only thing they wanted to have tonight, and we gave it away, so that's our fault.
Tottenham conceded late in also finishing 1-1 away to Wolves. And Roger Federer is set to miss the upcoming Australian Open tennis. The 20-time major champions agent says he needs more time to recover from 2 knee operations. Andy Murray's received a wild card for the event in February in Melbourne in Australia. From Sky News, I'm Tim Jones.
Alan Robson with you. It is, of course, Greatest Hits Radio Northeast. Thank you again for joining the throng. Couple of quick things before we get into the calls. We're heading off to Manchester. Debbie's in the middle of an investigation at a haunted location. We'll find out more about that in a second. 4 clues in our link, a dink-a-dink-a-dink-a-doo. The first clue, euros, pounds and dollars. What does that give you? Euros, pounds and dollars. Second clue, 3 dots, 3 dashes and 3 dots. What does that give you? 3 dots, 3 dashes and 3 dots. You've got 2 clues. Do not try and solve this until you've got all 4 clues, okay? You're going to need all 4 clues. Euros, pounds and dollars. 3 dots, 3 dashes and 3 dots. 2 more clues to come. And even though we're Brexiting very, very soon, we've got a couple of foreign questions coming up. See how good you are on languages. I know. But you will sort this answer out straight away and you will win. The last chance for you to get hold of the book free, Grizzly Tales from Northumbria, and, of course, the Night Owls mug. So, 2 clues down, 2 more to come. Couple of quick emails as well. Chris the Truck needs our help. Your help in particular, Owls. Alan, hi Al. I got the keys to my new flat Wednesday gone. I was wondering if any of the Night Owls have a sofa that might be thrown out. Doesn't have to be anything special, a 2 or a 3-seater, or even a couple of armchairs, as long as it's got a couple of months' life left in it. I'm getting me mum and dad's old settee when their new one's delivered early March. Only thing is, because of my shift pattern at the moment, I'll need it delivered to Wallsend, but I am willing to pay. Chris the Truck, have you got an old settee, a couple of armchairs, something you maybe want to try and get rid of? If so, Chris the Truck would love it. And Wallsend, deliver to Wallsend. If you can help, if you know somebody that's got a van that you do that, it'd slide them a few quid for doing it. 0191 488 3188. Contact Chris on our switchboard. And we'll try and make it absolutely happen. A couple of other quick things. David Bowater, all religion is a belief system until you can verify it for yourself. It's not to be trusted. And Mark spent Christmas with his mum. He hated the Christmas music. And the other thing that that I've been sent, and it is kind of strange. I've been in contact with Rachel who spent Christmas with her little Charlie, first Christmas with Baba, and she's done such a great job. She sent me 3 emojis back. Now, when you see an emoji in your list of emojis on your phone, you send them and you presume that they look the same when they get to the other end. I wish you could see what she sent. The first one looks a bit like a willy with 2 testicles on the bottom. Then she sent 2 hearts and 2 kisses to me, right? Now, yeah, well, that's what I thought. However, when I've looked at the same emojis on my other screen, which is slightly bigger, it's a set of headphones, 2 kisses and 2 hearts. I'm happy with that. I'm more comfortable with that. Rachel, thank you very much indeed. That was a bit of a shock originally, but thank you for it nonetheless. Did make me smile. Let's head to Manchester. Debbie is there investigating a hauntified location thing. Hello, Debbie.
Hello, Alan. It's not a haunting. It's something of the otherworldly kind.
Oh, do tell. Where, roughly, you may not want to tell everybody precisely where you are, or do you?
Well, I'm actually on the A666 motorway.
Right.
I investigate all kinds of phenomena, so everything from a werewolf to a UFO to missing time, whatever comes in.
Great. So what's happening on the motorway?
Well, we have 2 active cases at the moment. We have one on Winter Hill,
right,
which many people will know, and we have another in a small park called Bewlil Park in Salford.
Right.
And we have a witness tonight that's seen a very strange craft between the 2.
Right.
And they have an hour and a half of missing time.
Oh, whoa. Right.
Now, there are a number of other people in the area, and this is what I'm doing tonight. We're actually speaking to a few people. I spoke to some on the phone today. A number of people have come forward and said that they've seen something very similar in different years. So not all in the same year, Alan, but
Right,
over
sure.
from about the 70s right up to the 2014.
Wow. So what kind of thing did they see in the sky then?
Well, he said he was walking down Tremonley Road, which is just to the southwest of the park. He remembers doing that walk. He had the dog with him. The next thing he remembers, he's back at home. He's in the kitchen making a cup of tea. And he said he looked at the clock and it was 2:30 in the morning. Now, he said he got in from work at 12. He said, you're doing the normal. I'll get in from work, put the dog in the leader, walk him around the park. So it should have been about 12:30. He has no memory of that time at all.
Wow.
And I speak to, one of the things that I do is I speak to witnesses and I interview them week after week after week, kind of counsel them and go through them.
Right.
So it happens to so many people. And this gentleman, like many of the others, when he woke up the next morning in bed, he had a small bead fall from his ear. He said it was like a round ball bearing.
Uh-huh.
And it fell from his ear and he heard it land on the floor. Now, strangely enough, on Christmas Day, I speak to a gent who's about 2 miles away, so not very far away. And he said that he was in bed. He had this really vivid dream that he was on board a ship. And that when he came to in his bed, he had a plastic tube in his nose, of all things. When he removed it, there was blood on it. He said he put it on the sideboard in the bed. He went to sleep. And when he woke up in the morning, it wasn't there. And there was no blood or anything like that. So it's a very strange mix of different witnesses. And we're trying to get all of the stories together and see if we can get a timeline of events.
Right. No, that's great. I think it's fabulous what you do because essentially you just wait and see what people are talking about. If there's a buzz over something, then you dive on it and you take it back as far as you can. That's great.
Yeah, just try and it validates it for the witness. So he kind of gives them somebody else who can say, actually, maybe last year or, well, my Uncle Fred. One area where we get lots and lots of cases is Northumberland.
Sure.
So Concert area, Stanley area, we have around 8 people in that very small area of the northeast that have all seen what they describe as a caveman type thing.
Well, they're incredibly common up in the mountains, because concerts, our equivalent of mountains, and they're fairly common. You can see them most Friday nights, frankly, in concert. But explain the caveman-y thing, though. I mean, dressing like a caveman? I mean, Neanderthal types or what?
Yeah, very much so. Kind of hair, completely hair covered. One lass, 1974. She's in Stanley. She's playing out with other girls. She said, I look up the tree and this caveman type thing. She actually found a picture on Google and sent it to me, and it looks like a Neanderthal man completely covered in hair. But she said what was even more frightening was the girls that was with her didn't see it.
Right.
So it wasn't they didn't see it, just she saw it, you see. So that was, I spoke to her about 5 years ago. So I put it out on YouTube, as you do. You put the story out.
Sure.
And now there's 6 other people have got in touch and said, that's really funny you should say that, because I live in Beamish and this happened to me. Or I was on, the Coast to Coast Road.
Yeah.
Alan.
Yeah.
One guy was on the Coast to Coast Road, and as you pass that little church there,
yeah.
he saw something, what you described as a 7-foot-tall black mass standing at the side of the church watching him.
It's fascinating, the whole thing. And as I said, there's a lot of myths and legends in Northumbria with its spiritual history in any case. But interesting that it's even making its way down to Manchester as well, as if you didn't have enough places on your own backyard.
Well, it's strange. We've got a team out this week in County Chase, that's the Midlands. 32 witnesses down there. We actually applied under the Freedom of Information Act, Alan, to see what was reported to the police in the Staffordshire area. And we went from about, I think it was 2012 to 2017. And this will astound you. There were 12 werewolves reported to the police, upright, hairy werewolves, 440 wolves, and 15,000 large British cats, normally described as puma.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it seems to be anywhere in the UK, really. You can throw a dart at the board.
Sure. I mean, we've had callers that have rang us on air, terrified because they've seen a large black cat that was bigger than a dog run across the road, and they thought they'd heard stories of like the Surrey puma, which is kind of famous, and a lot of those tales from 1950 this and 40 that. But for somebody to literally have to brake the car, do an emergency stop because something ran across the road in front of their vehicle. And I think if you're in a car, you do have, especially if it's close, you do have a better way of finding out just how big it is. It's not a tomcat if you've had to emergency stop for something as high as your bonnet going past you. You know what I mean?
I was going to say that. I've spoken to many witnesses to cats, and they often describe it as being as tall as the bonnet.
Yeah.
A very long time ago, I'm going back to the 70s and 80s, it would just be people way out in the cross in Scotland or way out in Northumberland that would see them. And then round about the 90s, 2000s, that started to change. People would see them on golf courses or, hikers, but still out.
Well, the two biggest stories that I'm aware of, one of them was in a place called Great Lumley, which is kind of in between Durham and Newcastle.
Right.
It's kind of in the middle of that patch. Next to Lumley Castle, there's a famous castle there too.
Right, I know where you are.
They saw a black cat figure. That was the one that ran out in front of their car. The emergency stopped, almost went off the road.
Right.
2 people saw it, so it wasn't like one person on magic mushrooms. This was 2 people actually saw it. The other one that was quite famous, and it was strange that you should mention a golf course, because Gosforth Race Course is a sizable patch of green land surrounded by other smaller patches of green land. And it was on there that one of the grounds people who worked at Gosforth Park said that he didn't just see a black cat, a huge black cat, but also saw cubs, small black cubs that weren't moving like kittens. They were bigger. The cubs were the size of an adult cat, and he found droppings, and he went after them like a crazy loot. It's only in the northeast you'd find somebody running towards a puma, but he kind of went to see what the hell is this, and the animal picked up one of the cubs in its mouth and ran off with it. The others were seemingly capable of following.
Yes.
And he saw sign of them, he saw tracks of them, he saw their droppings. So this was not just a figment of his imagination.
No.
So they are commonplace all over. When you mentioned Constant and Stanley, it was 2 police officers from that neck of the woods that reported and officially made a report to their police station, and they got lampooned off all of their mates because they were driving along a country lane, and a large cat-like creature was in the middle of the road, stopping them getting by, and they honked the horn, and it didn't move, and it moved towards the vehicle, and they stayed in it, and then it ran off into the bushes soon after. But once again, 2 police officers saw it. So there's stuff out there we yet to fully understand, certainly.
Yeah, most definitely. It's an interesting thing that I do. It really, really is. We have reports from police officers that have seen UFO. They've seen craft. We have police officers who we have army gentlemen. I'm trying to think of what you would class as a credible witness. You've got army personnel on patrol on Salisbury Plain.
Sure.
They see something 7 foot tall, covered in hair, that runs across in front of them. An actual army report was made of that. We have a bailiff that turned up to a property in August in Scotland, in the Galloway Forest, saw 2 huge Alsatians inside the house. He was a locksmith. He go in through the house. He go indoors. There's absolutely nothing in the house. No dogs, no nothing. Nothing had been in there since about the 1970s. Wow. And it was him, his warrant officer, and an engineer with them. All 3 of them saw it. And he said the window that they saw the dog looking out of the windowsill would come up to like a man's chest. So it was either
big animals,
got huge and stood up on its hind legs, or paranormal in some sense, because there was no dog in the house.
Right.
You know?
Hey, fascinating. Debbie, keep on doing what you do, lass. Good on you. Thank you very much for coming on. Love hearing from you. Thank you.
All right, good night, Alan.
Cheers, love, all of us. Happy New Year. How about that? And we have Chris, who is in Hexham, and he's going down the road of best and worst gifts. Hi, Chris.
Hi.
Hello, mate. So, tell me everything.
Well, I think the worst present. The most boring present I got was socks and Lynx America.
Yeah.
Lynx Africa.
Yeah. They're kind of things that you would think, if you didn't have any, champion. But you've probably got a drawer full of socks, and you've probably got 2 or 3 squirty sprays as well. So
definitely, because I was 6 bottles of them.
There you go. Yeah, understand that. Keep going. What else?
That's a good present. I got an Ant-Deck book.
Right. Oh, that's brilliant. That'll be interesting.
I got Saving Private Ryan DVD.
Oh, great.
And I got some money. And the best present I got was tickets to see John Bishop live.
Oh, fantastic! Fingers crossed for gigs being open. Yeah. When is it? September-ish?
I think it's going to be July or April.
July. Ooh.
We're still waiting for a date to come through, but
right.
I think COVID will probably have to spurn it again.
I think it'll be the later the better, I think, just for safety's sake. But hey, let's hope so. We're all desperate to get back to remotely close to normal would do us at the moment. But hey, John Bishop's really funny, so absolute top present, top gift. Did you manage to give decent or not? How do you think you fared? Do you manage to give people decent stuff? Or?
Yeah, I get got some family some gift vouchers.
Great. I think the money thing, and I know some people say, "Oh, can I get vouchers?" It just means you don't think. It means you can get what you want, rather than have something forced on you that you couldn't be bothered with.
Because then if you don't give them vouchers, they complain about it. They're not liking the present. So.
I've already got one of them. I've got 3 of them. And it's that kind of. It's the Lynx Africa syndrome again. I've got this box set of Lynx. In other words, the day before Christmas they were on special offer. Okay, we understand. We know the truth about this. Right. Anything else while you're on, mate?
It was just Boxing Day seemed a bit strange. Because last year I went to a club event.
Right.
And the whole year yesterday has been because of this COVID.
Yeah, well, last year,
strange.
especially with last year was the very first year for me, of 40-odd years when I was always working on New Year. I did the New Year party every year for 40-odd years. So I'd never had a New Year's Eve off. So I had the first one last year, and I went to Edinburgh for their big Hogmanay party. You're going to buy tickets, and it's fireworks and 20 live bands. And
sounds good.
Amazing, absolutely. And you had one of the top jocks, I think it was Calvin Harris, was jocking the big party, and he'd brought some acts of his own up for that as well. It was brilliant. And I must admit, there was something like 500,000 people on the streets. So it was kind of chocker, but it was brilliant. I must admit, I was mind blown because many, many years ago, I hosted one of the stages for the Hogmanay party, and you're jocking to like people from all over Britain, and it's great fun. And but that's working it again. So the fact that I could go there and just be a punter and have a nice time and have a dance and a sing and all the stuff you do was tremendous. But that made this year, we're not quite at New Year yet, but this year it's going to be flat as a pancake, isn't it? That's the thing. So you can have a party yourself, but don't dance with anybody. Don't dance close. Don't put a smoochy one on. Oof, we'll all drop dead. I just hope that we still manage to come out of it with some semblance of happiness. And it's just, it's not the same. That's the deal. We want it back to roughly where it was. Yeah, we could all live with it. Hey, well, good luck to you. Thank you for coming on, Chris. Great to hear from you, man. Take care. Bye-bye. Yes, and we are disappearing. Oh, we've already been to Finland. We've already been to the Scottish borders. We need to go somewhere a bit warmer. Susie and Simon are in Portugal. Hello, you two. How are you doing?
Hello, long time no speak. How you doing?
Good. Absolutely great to talk to you too. Tell me everything.
Tell you everything. Well, first things, aliens exist. That's the most important thing after listening early on to your show. So we know all about that. That's definite.
Okay.
And most of them seem to reside in the White House.
Yeah, but they'll not be there for much longer, fortunately. So there we go. Well, unless he puts a fight up like he claims to be. Now, tell me everything about the Starlight Campbell band, please.
Yeah, well, we moved here from Germany. The last time we spoke to you, I think we were in Germany near Hanover.
That's right, I remember.
And, with a lockdown and everything, we thought it's better off being poor and in a warm country. So we moved down here with our studio, and we're still recording and writing and stuff. Of course, we can't play right now, but.
I mean, has it gone to even the degree that I know in Spain they did the lockdown where you can't even play in hotels and lobbies and the places where presumably bread and butter gigs. Is it the same in Portugal? Are they locked down as hard?
Well, it appears to be. I mean, it's difficult because what happens is that the government keep changing every couple of weeks. They have a new dictate.
Yeah.
Portugal, we are. We're in the lowest risk area. We're in an area called Benavente, which is sort of to the northeast of Lisbon, about 40 minutes outside. Mm. But everything is basically closed. I mean, but it varies. It's like the UK, they go to hard lockdown. I mean, they've allowed Christmas here and small families to get together. But from New Year's Eve, there's a curfew from 1 o'clock in the afternoon till 5 o'clock in the morning for 4 days. So they've locked down completely after.
They're making sure nobody has a good time for New Year. That's the deal. You've had your Christmas, tough. Now we're finished till the New Year. What I don't fully understand is that they've allowed people to mix, and therefore, if any COVID's going to get passed, it's already passed. But now let's clamp down for the New Year. It just doesn't seem to. The two things don't add up. But how you guys managed? I know you say we've decided if we're going to be poor in a warm country, and hoorah to that. But how have you fed yourselves, for heaven's sake? Because there's no money to be had for you guys.
Well, we are very fortunate in the fact that we've got a lot of supporters, and we've been selling quite a lot of pre-orders for the new record, Language Curiosity, which is out in April next year.
Right.
So we've been well with that. And also we've been having sales of merch and stuff. They're selling at the moment 50% off.
Right.
And also we have a patron scheme where people can support us, and we've got some brilliant supporters, you know.
Right.
So and it is relatively cheap to live here, and you know, we've been very fortunate with family helping us to move.
Right.
So you know, it's overall we can just about scrape by because we normally survive really with festivals anyway. If we do a fair few festivals a year,
right,
we can. That's how we survive because we get reasonably well paid for them. So that's all good. And next year, from October, we've got a lot of we've got a big tour organised for Europe, UK, Germany, Czech Republic.
Hey, let's hope that comes up.
That's how we're surviving anyway.
Can you monetize the studio at all? You know, can you I don't know, do commercials or teach people to sing, or can you get any money out of the studio you built?
Well, we do, and we do let it out. I mean, it is semi-commercial, you know. So when I say semi-commercial, we because we're sort of we're out gigging when we can. It's difficult to book people in advance, but we do actually rent it out. And we've just really again now. So and that's what we were doing in Germany. That's what we were doing when we were in Spain.
Right.
So and that's obviously a good way to because we started off with a commercial studio in Spain. So
I was just thinking, we've heard you in Germany. You moved to Spain. Is it just when you get the tax bill that you move?
Well, it's the rebate that we.
That allows you to get the hell out. I understand, right?
Yeah, no. The reason why we moved is that we moved to Germany because it was like the centre of the blues rock music scene, really, in Europe. You know.
Yeah.
But with what's happened, it's been tricky, and I think with the sort of gigs we're doing, we're going to be flying everywhere anyway. So, I mean, here we're only about 30 minutes from Lisbon Airport. So when we can fly, we can fly out to gigs. And it's pretty cheap to move about Europe. And also, of course, with Brexit, we needed to move. We didn't want to stay in Europe. And we've got residency here. So, we're all cool now.
Happy days. Happy days. Hey, well, fantastic to hear from you, the pair of you. I hope you're well. I hope the the disease hasn't touched you. And have a great 2021. Catch up all of that money that you lost in 2020.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
And send our love to everyone. And one thing, Alan, before we go, it's a little present. I was just thinking about music is there really to connect us up. And one thing that we've really been noticing as well, and you know this, is that everyone's mental health, we've really got to keep tight onto our hope. Because we've been thinking about this. And if you have hope, then that's your fuel for your soul. And we mustn't lose our hope. We mustn't lose our vision for, we know things are changing and will change sometimes and won't be the same ever again. But we've got to hope, keep our hope intact and keep each other close. But obviously physically, you know what I mean. But that's the one thing I'd say that going into the new year. And we just wish everyone a beautiful, loving new year, and let's reimagine life, and let's adapt and change, and let's love each other.
Well said, Susie. For you, Susie, to have hope and you're living with Simon, that's a lot to be said. Thanks, you guys. All the best.
Alan Robson.
Hey, Happy New Year. All the best.
Thank you, Alan.
Bye-bye. So there you go. Susie and Simon in Portugal with a Starlight Campbell band. If you want to check out their merch, 50% off at the present moment, get onto their website, check it out. Time for a little piece of music. Oh, blimey. We've talked to Alexander O'Neill. We've talked to George Michael. We've talked to you guys, the true stars of the show. Let's have some stars again from the glory that is the Northeast. The Pet Shop Boys. And I thought, because they're quite posh, I thought we get chatting about, well, being from the northeast, essentially.
Hello.
Hello.
Home and
No
dry.
coming home for me.
Don't put the accent on. Come on, you've been away too long. Do you ever get a chance to get back?
He never had one.
I, by the way, Alan, live half of my time in County Durham. You may not
No.
realise that fact.
You must sneak in and sneak out.
I get the train to Darlington Station or Durham Station.
There you go.
And actually, our new album release was actually recorded in the northeast of England in our studio, which is in my house there. So I have every right to talk with a Geordie accent if I want to.
All right, that's hilarious.
You're more Geordie than Ant and Dec, aren't
I'm
you?
a lot more Geordie than Ant and Dec. And of course, I went to the same school as
Sting.
Dec and Sting.
Did Dec go the
It's
same one?
St Cuthbert's. It's an absolute academy of pop stars.
So what was childhood like for you when you were skipping around as a little lad?
Childhood was not. I liked my primary school. That was good. St Oswald's in
Yeah.
Gosforth. That was nice. St Cuthbert's I absolutely hated.
Why? What was the matter with it?
Well, it was sort of authoritarian, and it was very kind of sporty as well. And I'm not the world's most sporty person.
Right.
I was all right, I was just, I'm not really a school kind of person. And
Okay,
Chris
so-
was a complete swat, of course.
That was
but- I used to skive off school and go and get drunk in the city centre. Anyway, we don't need to go into that.
You're a real good role model, you know.
I know. Don't. So you could end up like me.
The voice of the North.
Alan Robson's Night Owls, the phone-in that gets you talking.
Greatest hits radio.
Still got a third clue coming your way in about 15 to 20 minutes, but Anonymous is waiting. Let's go there now, and that's Anonymous in Gateshead. Hello, Anonymous.
Hello, Alan.
Hello, sir. What do you have for me tonight then, mate? Thank you.
So this vaccine is very well controlled, I would so to speak. The only thing is with this vaccine, they found a vaccine for 9 months of a virus, and to me, it just seems very bizarre. Very bizarre.
In what respect? What worries you the most?
Well, I mean, you can look at this 3 or 4 different ways because, I mean, you look at the AIDS epidemic in New York from years ago, and then you look at cancer, you look at this, you look at a lot of viruses, and then all of a sudden, with 9 months of a vaccine found out, I don't know where this is going. It's very weird.
Do you believe it? Because some people say it's all just a hoax anyway. I mean, it's hard to even say that when we know people that have been very, very ill. We know people who's had beloved members of their family die. So it's not something to take lightly. But some people genuinely believe that it's all a hoax, that it's all part just to keep us under control. And some people believe it's to hide what's going on with Brexit, because that would have been, like the big story. But of course, COVID trumps everything. So, do you believe that this is a genuine vaccine? And secondly, do you believe that it'll deal with every possible strain of coronavirus? Because we're hearing there's one new strain now. A virologist was on TV just yesterday saying your average virus mutates dozens and dozens of times, and it changes a little bit every time. So does that mean we need dozens and dozens of different vaccines for each strain? I mean, because one strain's not, it's like one stop's not going to hit everybody by the sound of things, but everybody's going to get jabbed and presumably then pretend everything's okay. It just seems a long shot, doesn't it?
Yeah, of course it is. This is the reason why, right? I've always not had religion. I'm an atheist, so I don't have religion. I'm atheist, so blah, blah. But the Paul is next to us, so it's fabulous, right? Thing is, though, if you look at the bigger picture here, within humanity, well, the planet's going, which, I mean, you look at the bigger picture here, why have we been put in here, or why are we here in general, basically?
Right.
Me and Paul are sitting next to us, right? Not in a green. Hi, Alan. When he says hi, Alan. You see, I mean, I just don't know why we've been put in here by human beings at the end of the day.
Right.
As you do.
Are we not just ants the same way as everything else has been put here, just because we can use we're reversible thumbs, we're a bit slightly cleverer?
Possibly. Yeah, definitely. I don't know if we are like a little experiment.
Right.
What have you? Well, I mean, don't you agree as well?
Yeah, no, I agree on what Alan's saying. Yeah,
Definitely.
I agree with that.
It's so bizarre.
But all clearly, like ants, we've been put on this world for a minute, right, in a way.
It's very bizarre.
Yeah, but if we are ants, for example, if we have insects anywhere near the house, we squish them all. So, I mean, you could argue, is this nature's way of squishing us? You have to cut down a huge population of people across the planet.
I mean, my Paul and Alan put some on my Facebook about, what was that, mini moon?
There was something
a mini
about
moon.
that
Turtle was there.
They've noticed that there's apparently a mini moon, but they're also trying to say that the astrologists basically they're putting it down to being a meteorite.
All right,
But they're not really sure on what it is yet.
Right.
Thing is, though, I mean, you got these scientists sitting around the world, which respectively, great. And I mean, they're sitting there, that's their full-time jobs, 365 days a year. To sit and watch the planet and say, all right, there's no, like, massive, like, big rocks going to hit towards Earth, which is perfectly fine in a sense. Of course it is. But, yeah, my partner's just saying it's happening. And, I mean, if it doesn't happen, well, you know, we're all screwed.
And on that happy note, Happy New Year, everybody. We're all doomed.
Yeah, 2021. Thing is, though, I mean, going next year and the year after as well, if you don't get these scientists sitting there doing the job they're doing, which, you know, of course, they're getting paid for do that job. You know, it's really weird.
It is, but if you guys are interested in the whole comets hitting Earth, there's a new film coming out, it might already be out, called Greenland, about comets hitting the Earth. It's a fab film. I watched it in the view of, this is just a bit of fun, but when you see it, you might think, oh, hell's teeth, this is what we've heard about all along, and then you can start digging a bunker.
There's a good one Paul just mentioned there as well, Songbird, which is in cinemas. So, has anybody watched that before? I think it's on Britbox.
No, it's coming out in the cinemas. It's literally, it's based on, they're basing it on the coronavirus.
All right.
They're making it more extreme on what the COVID-19 is, because they're trying to, on the trailer on the movie, on what I've seen about it, they're saying basically they're checking people's temperatures, and obviously if you've got over a higher temperature, I think is it over 39.7. But anyway, they're portraying it more than what the actual COVID-19 is to be now, because they're putting people down on this movie. But I'm just wanting to know if anybody's actually seen it yet.
Yeah, it's just what we need, some more of that. Anything with virus, any film that has virus written in it now, I'm just not even bothering with, because I've had enough of virus to last me a lifetime. Hey, but guys, thank you very much for coming on. Lovely to hear from you. Thanks, lads. Take care.
See you later.
All the best. Bye-bye. There you go. Anonymous ×2 in Gateshead. What do you think? 01914 888 3188. Now, can I thank those of you that have sent work in? You know, I mentioned that I'm looking for an illustrator from a project. It's not guaranteed to happen, but it's a very good chance that it will. And somebody came through. We've had a couple of people sending work. You don't have to be a professional. You just have to be good and reasonably quick, because if it comes off, we're going to need 2, 3, 4 dozen illustrations quite quickly. And if you want your work considered, send me an example of it, and I will give it due consideration. We've got a couple of people in the hat for it as it stands, and spread the word. I'm looking for an illustrator for children's books, but it's children's books with a bit of a twist. So get ready for it. Bill from Seton Sluice is on the line. Let's go and talk to that gentleman immediately, if not quicker. Hi, Bill.
Hello, young fella. How are you doing?
I'm all right, man. Good to talk to you.
Good.
I hope you had a good Christmas.
Very nice. Very nice.
Champy thing. Tell me about stuff then.
No, I caught you last week. I thought I heard you mention something about an art exhibition.
Right.
Yes. Well, I just want to know a little bit more about it, because I've been a watercolour artist all my life.
Right.
I'm 8 years of age now.
Uh-huh.
When it came to lockdown, I thought, what the hell am I going to do to fill this time in?
Sure, right.
Otherwise I'll be walking in the sea till my hat floated. No, I mean, I've painted all the lakes, the castles, over many years.
Right.
So I thought I'll have to do something different. So I started to paint portraits.
Right. Uh-huh.
Now, I've done about 30 odd.
Great.
Marilyn Monroe, the Queen, Winston Churchill, Jackie Charlton, Bobby Charlton, all them.
Right.
And I thought if you're having some kind of exhibition, I could post some to your office
Right.
for you to have a look at.
Well, the main thing we were talking about art last week was what I've just been talking about. We're putting a number of books together, and I'm looking for an artist who would be capable of doing the illustrations for them, for whatever the thing is. However, as you know, everything's been stopped due to COVID. There will be an outbreak of exhibitions. Trust me, there will be an outbreak of everything as soon as we're given the all clear. So what I'll do in the meantime, I'll put a few feelers around in the art community and see if there's going to be any decent ones planned that your ordinary citizen can put work forward to be considered for. So I can certainly do that for you, Bill. That's not a problem.
Well,
but at the moment, as you know, there's nothing anywhere really.
Well, I mean, I used to do all the craft fairs at the churches and community centres and all that. But at my age, it gets too heavy for you.
Sure.
So I just...
it would be nice, though, if there was some building putting on a proper exhibition that could give you a wall and you can stick your stuff up. No, that sounds great. I'll see if there's anything coming around like that, and if there is, I'll tip you the wing. That's not an issue, because, as I say, there will be an explosion of arty things, because arty folk have had nothing to do. You know, nowhere to show their skill, nowhere to play their music. Art has been flat all year.
Well, mine, a few years ago, the art exhibitions died a death. The churches didn't put them on, and it really did die a death. But, if you can send me any information...
Well, just if I can find some, I'll have a look around over the next couple of days, but it may well be that we're going to have to wait till we get to yon end of COVID before anybody starts putting proper dates in. That's the thing I'm worried about, so it might be a couple of months. But, Bill, thank you very much for coming on, and send me a picture or two. I'd love to see your work.
I'll shove some in a little envelope. Well, I've took photographs of them.
Oh, can you send them on the internet? Are you conversant or not? Not really.
Oh, yeah, I'm not at my age.
All right, fair dues, fair dues.
Although my daughter can do that sort of thing.
Right,
but never mind, I'll shove some in an envelope just to give you an idea.
Love to have a look. Thank you very much, Bill.
Okay.
All the best, mate.
Ta-da.
Bye-bye. 88 and still cracking on and still doing great work by the sound of things. Time for a quick piece of music. This time, I thought I'd play a bit of a classic from Squeeze, so we might as well have a chat with them as well about, well, painful things. What's the worst thing that's happened to your bodies? Accidents, operations, screaming, howling, pain, explosions of pus and blood would all help. What have you suffered? Yeah, give me some of that.
I got my foreskin caught in a zip once.
Whoa!
That was, yeah. Well, you did ask.
Thank you very much.
So I am answering.
Thank you. That was
and I had to go to hospital and be cut out of the zip. It was extremely, not only excruciatingly painful, but excruciatingly embarrassing.
No, bit of a sore point, right? What about you?
My God, I can't think of any sort of...
You're too busy getting the image of that in your head. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's right. I can't get it out of my head now. It's great. There's nothing to beat that. I think that's a topper, so to speak.
What are you frightened of? You got any rational or irrational fears?
I have a fear of flying. I wouldn't say I'm frightened by it, but I've got a fear of it, and that's a different thing.
Sure.
And apart from that, I'm not really frightened about much. You know, people say, "Oh, there's a rat or a mouse or something like that." It doesn't seem to bother me really.
You just think, oh, it's a mouse or what? It's a little.
It's a rat.
Right.
They live here. We have to share the planet with them. That's fair enough.
But you?
Yeah, I'm really. I'm frightened of traffic accidents. That's. I had an experience about 6 months ago when I was driving my car with a full trailer and my family in the car, when a car aquaplaned right across the front of the part of where I was. It was really scary, and you know, this thought doesn't preoccupy my mind, and I don't get into a car and think about it. But You know, if I think
Shows
about
you
what
how
I'm
easy
scared
it
of,
is, though,
that's
doesn't it?
it.
That's the thing, really.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's exactly that.
consulting on plans to stop restaurants offering free refills of high-calorie soft drinks. Nutritionist Catherine Jenner from campaign group Action on Sugar says it should help tackle obesity.
By having them on promotion, it makes us buy more of them than we ordinarily would. Data shows that actually we increase our purchases by almost 20% more than we needed or intended to buy of these unhealthy foods. So that's money in our pockets to go back into buying healthier foods.
Smaller stores would be exempt from the restrictions, which are due to be introduced from April 2022. The backlog of lorry drivers waiting in Dover to cross the Channel has been reduced from around 3,000 on Christmas Day to less than 200. Queues developed at the border after France required people to test negative for coronavirus, including the fast-spreading variant, which is in the UK. Officials in Nashville say DNA evidence has confirmed the suspect in a Christmas Day bombing was killed in the blast. Anthony Warner died when his parked motorhome exploded in the city centre, damaging more than 40 businesses. In sport, Tottenham are without a win in 4 Premier League games. They conceded late in drawing 1-1 at Wolves, missing the chance to go third. Spurs boss Jose Mourinho says the manner of the result is hard to take.
Scoring a goal in the first minute and having the control of the game for the rest of it and having 89 minutes to score more goals is to feel frustrated.
Leaders Liverpool were also held 1-1 at home to strugglers West Brom. And Noel Rodgers says he feels numb following the death of his mother, who'd been battling Alzheimer's. The American musicians tweeted a photo of them together. From Sky News, I'm Tim Jones.
Alan Robson with you, Greatest Hits Radio North East, and we are talking to you. Now, I have given you 2 clues in our new competition, which is basically about links. Link, a dink-a-dink, a dink-a-doo is what it's called tonight, although its name will change week by week. And the first clue is euros, pounds and dollars. What is that? Euros, pounds and dollars. The second clue, 3 dots, 3 dashes, 3 dots. Okay. And the third clue, this means "oh mother" in Italian. Okay. Check how good you are linguistically. This means "oh mother" in Italian. So you've got 3 clues. You've got 1 more clue to come. When you hear the 4th clue, then you can ring in and try and win yourself a copy of Grizzly Tales from Northumbria and a Night Owl's mug. There you go. You can win that. Okay? Grizzly Tales from Northumbria and the Night Owl's mug. So if you fancy that, so the last chance, we've given away a couple of months worth of the book, and that is it. That's the number we had. They're still going to be available, of course, in all of the various places where you are likely to get books from, so no worries. Let us get back into the calls, see who's ringing who about what. Andrew in Spennymoor wanted to talk about Brexit. Hi, Andrew.
Hello, Alan.
Hello, sir. What's your view on the whole Brexit deal, then? Have you had a look through it?
I want a 500-page document, if you don't mind giving us it. At the end of the document, there's a little paragraph that states Britain is stuck in the European Union.
Yes.
And that isn't Brexit.
Yeah, I went through it with a fairly fine tooth comb as well, and you read the whole thing, and then
We're being sold out.
It tells you that we're actually in exactly the same place we were before we started.
Alan, right, I'm going to have a go at you now.
Go on then.
Right, I get the impression that you don't want to talk about Brexit. After one of your comments earlier tonight.
No, we talked about Brexit a lot. What I'm being saying is that a lot of people, well, no, absolutely. We talked about it for months and months and months.
Yeah.
So
we just got on a stumbling block now, where we're getting put back to stage 1. So Boris can do it again in 5 years.
But is this? Do you think that he's just used the whole COVID thing to try and put a cover over it?
I was going to start with that.
Right.
The COVID, right, we've got a new definition. We've got a new virus.
Yes, apparently.
Hold up, it takes 5 years to do a remedy, and all of a sudden, your pharmacy at whichever country it's come from has decided, we've got a remedy. Where's your remedy from?
Yeah.
It takes 5 years to do the remedy. If there's a new strain, it takes 5 years.
But they're saying, the vaccine they've got now will probably. You see, when we're talking medically, I hate the word probably. I want certainly is what I want when we're talking about injecting substances into people's
Out of
skin.
curiosity, right? You asked a question. Christmas.
Yes.
Boris, you've just knackered everybody's Christmases. Your local authorities are a bit beyond the joke. Do you know, I went, I want to say where I went.
Go for it.
I went into Durham, and some old people were walking around the town centre, and the wardens just walked up to one of them and just ripped the bag off and saying, go nowhere, we don't know what's in your bag.
What?
You heard. This is Durham.
Oh, hell's bells, that's wrong.
Now, I've seen it, and somebody's asked me tonight, why didn't you go and approach them? Right, what's the point? At the end, it ended up with a place, and the people let go.
You see, had it been the police, you might think, oh, well, perhaps they've got a message in their ear that somebody's been shoplifting and he's dressed like this. So
these are wardens.
These are people who've just been given a yellow jacket and said, tell people to walk there and tell people not to walk there.
They've given a half police uniform and a blue badge.
I don't...
And they think they own the country.
I've not been a fan of... Somebody described them as street Nazis, which is going a bit far, but because they've just been given the job and they've been told what to do, so it's not their fault.
Right.
But I don't need somebody to tell me which side of the street to walk on.
Yeah, I know that.
I also don't need somebody to tell me that there's the COVID, everybody's worried about it and we should keep our distance. I know. I've heard it 1,000 times. I'm doing it. And most people are doing it. They're keeping in their family groups, their bubble. But apart from that, they're kind of being sensible about it. They're not being too stupid. What do you think we should do then? I mean, you think that it's just a cover for Brexit, that now that Brexit deal's been done and it can't be changed. In other words, Brexiteers have been stuffed.
Right. Personally, I think this new strain of virus is one big farce.
Right.
Boris was determined he was going to have a Brexit deal done by Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
It's just one big farce. I don't care what anybody says.
But do you believe the first one was?
Where my mother here lives, there's 22 patients got COVID.
Right.
It's like a flu.
Right.
And all the staff were allowed to go home every night.
Right.
Now, in reality, if they've got COVID, they wouldn't allow you to go home until they knew that you didn't have nothing.
But the people that are in that home with your mammy, are they surviving? Are they okay?
I haven't got a clue.
Right.
At the minute, I don't want to know because I don't want it.
Right.
Wherever it is. Now,
but you seem to think it's it's a virus just like flu.
It's been one big farce. We had the same over Brexit. What we've had over bedroom tax. The Conservatives making money. Can you tell me which politician has made money out of all of this?
All of them. I would imagine pretty much all of them.
They've all had something to do with the companies.
One of the things that I noticed, when the vaccine became available...
It takes 5 years to make a vaccine.
Not if you're in a hurry.
That's a big hurry.
But I mean, what they've said in the press, and this was not a front page story. I think it should have been a front page story. This was about page 35 in one of the newspapers. When the COVID vaccine was announced to being injected, the first people were getting it, it added £145 billion to the stock market, which meant that the people that had a lot of stocks and shares doubled or trebled their value. Now, you could argue, is that what it's all about? I mean,
it's all money nowadays.
Because I must admit that ordinary people have suffered hellish with COVID, whether whichever side of the fence you're on.
Government, your local authorities, we don't give a monkeys.
You don't think?
I'm not swearing, but we don't give them monkeys.
Right.
Next, Christmas.
Yes.
Last time I spoke to you, I had a fire.
Uh-huh.
The Christmas tree.
Right.
I had an electrical fault on the wiring.
Oh, no.
And the landlord, I've got a landlord.
Yeah.
And the landlord, it takes him about 8 hours to come out.
Right.
Yeah, we'll put your new socket in. Everything's on fire. Oh, a big joke, that.
Yes, I said, could you put the fire out first? That's anything
I'll
else while you're on then, Andrew?
Hey?
Anything else while you're on, Andrew?
Yeah.
What's that?
That'll do there, Alan.
Say again?
I'm saying, I thought you had enough of us there.
Well, I'm just giving you a chance if there's anything else you wanted to say, Andrew. That was all.
I'm going to ask you a question.
Go on then.
Censorship.
Uh-huh.
And I've got one more question after this, then we're finished.
Okay.
Is all the radio station census, you know what I mean?
This show, so far, I'm touching fake wood here. So far, nobody's told me not to speak about anything, which is why I'm speaking about everything. What's your last question?
Magna Carta.
Uh-huh.
I want to know if we can have a debate on that.
We certainly could. We've talked about it before.
No,
There's
been that many read copies of a Magna Carta. There's only the original one that stands.
Yes, but the original Magna Carta...
In 1200 not.
Yeah, but it doesn't cover businesses because a business took the government to
Does it
court.
cover freedom of speech?
We've only got freedom of speech when they want to let us have it. That's
what I'm saying. But
that's
the
the deal.
original Magna Carta overrides it.
Well, you said that, but it was tested in court, and the judge found that the government was right because it used emergency powers that overrode the Magna Carta.
Emergency powers.
Yeah, emergency powers trump it, according to the courts.
It just makes you wonder what is going on.
I
won't bore you that much.
No worries.
I'm going to say thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You have a lovely, lovely night and a lovely new year.
I'll do me darndest. Thanks very much, Andrew. All the best. Bye-bye. He wasn't boring me at all. He just had what he wanted to say. And I'm happy to let him have it. More emails coming in. This one. Alan, have you noticed you're now doing the news? Is this a new thing? It's new from tonight. It even surprised me. Also, are there any plans to do a quiz some Sunday because they're good listening? That's from Timbo. That was a previous radio station. This lot doesn't. Tracy says COVID is a man-made virus and they've had the vaccine for years. It's all just a political cover-up. Boom. Or not. Depends on what you think. Give me a call. 0191 488 3188. Edwin is on the line. He's in Gateshead too. Hi, Edwin. Hello, Edwin. Oh, it sounds very quiet. Hello, Edwin. Last chance.
Hello, can you hear us?
Hey, there he is. Hello, Edwin.
Hello, mate.
Hi.
All the best. And
to you. Thanks, man.
I wish you all the best for the future and to hope everything goes well for you.
Thanks, mate.
Hope you live long, well and prosper.
That's I would do the Star Trek thing, but I can't get my fingers into that position somehow. But anyway, not to worry. What you got for me tonight?
A couple of things. On the virus, first of all, how quickly they've come up with a vaccine for it.
Yeah.
When you've got like the cancer and stuff like that. I mean, well, let's face it, cancer, a lot of it, a lot of it is down to lifestyle, with smoking and drinking and stuff like that. That's fair enough, but I don't think not enough money goes into it.
No, I agree.
Cancer research.
I agree, and you would think many more people suffer from cancer than COVID. So why didn't they just pour a whole pile of money into cancer and save more lives? Or do they want people to die or something? Is this
this is it. This is another point. I mean, I didn't mean to be negative or anything like that when I say this, but is money made from giving people medicines and tablets and stuff to keep things controlled, with cancer.
Well, let's face it.
Money made
some
from
of the most powerful people on earth own pharmaceutical companies. It's no surprise that they're coining it in, and it doesn't matter which, because when the last gentleman came on, he says it takes 5 years, for any new vaccine to go through all the various stages to make sure that people are safe. 9 months, And it's actually less than 9 months if you think about it, because for the first couple of months there was no main race for it because everybody thought it would be over within 6-8 weeks. So it's been in about 5-6 months that the vaccine has worked itself out. It's just when we're talking about a vaccine, it's the British version of the vaccine, the European version of the vaccine, the American version of the vaccine, all different pharmaceutical companies, all saying ka-ching, and all of the people that invested in those companies by the million means that their millions multiply to the power of 10 or to the power of 5, and they're as rich as you could possibly be.
That's so wrong, isn't it?
And yet all the people who, ordinary working people in Britain, were expecting 5 to 6 million unemployed. America have just said it's looking between 14 and 20 million people unemployed, losing their homes, losing their job, losing, when the rich guys are all getting richer.
Oh, it's so wrong, isn't it?
But
I don't know anything about Brexit either, but a lot. All I know about that is that Europe's in debt, and if we were best out of it, that's all I know. I try to keep rid of politics as much as possible, really. Even though you've got to have politics anyway to control things and sort things out, but I don't know.
I don't think we'd manage. Without this lot, we'd manage. I'm sure.
And the nurses as well, I feel sorry for them. Why aren't they giving the injection first and giving the COVID vaccine first? There was one on the telly where she said she'd also getting credit cards out for the first time, and she was leaving the profession. There's a lot of them leaving the profession because they're not being looked after properly. I hope they didn't get back in again, Conservative, like. I hope
but is Labour up to scratch, though? Do you think that Labour's got to...
well, no, not really. I've got no faith in any of them, really.
But you see, this is the problem. For the first time, I mean, if you just go back 5-6 years, there were two sides battling for a seat. And some would be in for a little while, and the next lot would be in, and back and forth it went. And maybe that's the way it's supposed to be. But now you've got a group of other parties and the Tories, and it seems that unless something radical changes, maybe a brand new party altogether, who's going to knock the Tories off their seat? And I mean, that's after a hell of a year. I mean, I don't think we've ever had as bad a year in general for 1,000 reasons as this last 12 months has been. But be interesting to see. But I think politically, Labour need to book their ideas up. And when they don't vote on things, they say, oh, we're not going to vote on... Well, they've got to vote on everything because people throughout Britain voted them in as their MPs. Not to sit on their hands and do now. They should have an opinion about
Let's hope that when there's a lockdown, the police get a break, the ambulance drivers get a break, because, I mean, they're really slogged, It's so unfair, like. And the government are to blame. This is what people forget. When they're attacking these are people on our side. They're not the villains. The villains of the peace that are on our side, And when people are attacking ambulance drivers, attacking police officers, they've got to remember that these people are on our side. It's a government that they should be arguing with, because they're the ones that are not putting enough police on the streets and stuff like that. And they're not even getting paid enough. I don't think they really get paid enough for what they do. When you watch the television, the box of coins got a lot to answer for. When you see a lot of stuff on aid and everything outside, just put the telly on, you see it all on there. You know what's going on.
That's a good question. I wish the hell I knew. Edwin, thank you. Thanks for your views, mate. Appreciate it.
Thanks, mate. Take care.
Thanks, man. Bye-bye. Well, there's Edwin talking about nurses and frontline staff deserving to get a rise. For a number of years, when I was driving home, there used to be a police car over a motorway bridge, and every time I went down the road, he would give us he'd flash his lights on, and I'd give him like a flick of the headlights like you do. And I can guarantee you that the police, because they do listen to Night Owls, the police, wherever they are in their little panda cars, when he said the police aren't getting paid enough, they were honking their horns. They were flashing their lights there, and I bet you. And Stanley Elvis is up next. Let's see what he's going to say and what's all that about. Hello, Elvis.
How are you doing?
Good, mate. How are you?
I'm just out for a bit of a walk.
Okay. So is it not frozen? Has Storm Bella not blown you off a hill?
Not yet. I've just left the house.
Right. Okay. So you there's time for you to get blown by Bella.
I haven't been very well this past week.
Well, that'll book you up a bit then, I'm imagining.
Right.
Right.
Last Tuesday, I ended up in hospital for 6 hours.
Oh, why? What happened?
All the tests that were done came back negative, but they're putting it down long COVID.
Oh, oh, blimey, right. What was it? What symptoms did you have then?
Just real trouble breathing. I mean, it was pretty damn bad.
Right. So what was it if it wasn't COVID then?
Where they're putting it down long COVID, where you get short of your breath,
Right.
Chronic fatigue.
Yeah, but they said you didn't have COVID, so what was it that you've got then that's made you all puffy panty?
Well, they're putting it down to long COVID. You can still suffer long COVID.
Long COVID?
Yeah. You might see that in the news.
Well, I heard about it, and I suppose if you're going to have one, have a long one.
No, just trouble breathing, muscle aches and pains.
All right. So when did you have COVID then, Elvis?
Weekend of May 10th and 11th of May this year.
All right, blimey. So it has hung on a long time, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, you might remember when I was on earlier this year. I had both COVID and pneumonia together, so it nearly killed us. I was seriously ill.
Right, because the last time we talked, you were out on your bike, so you were champion then.
Yeah, wait, it's just in this last week or so. It's come on pretty bad.
Right.
But having said all that, I'm walking uphill now. I'm pumping.
I know, I can hear you.
So when I got my new bike at the beginning of August, even though I've been ill, I've still managed to do 418 miles.
Oh, wow, that's great.
Right.
So did you have a good Christmas anyway?
It was all right.
Good.
It's all right, yeah.
Were you with a family or were you on your Todd?
No, I was on my Todd.
Right.
A couple of people from church swung by.
That's good.
So
there's
over Christmas dinner.
Are they swingers?
No. Just.
You just said they swung by, so I was sorry. Had to ask. They're probably sitting at home saying, "If only he knew." But anyway, hey, glad you had a good one, nonetheless.
Yeah.
Anything else, then, Elvis?
No.
Thanks for calling. Take care. Bye-bye. Stanley Elvis there. He had a long one. He had long, not short COVID, not little stubbly prawny COVID. No, he had long COVID. We're getting new words. The long COVID thing came up because of this strange smell stuff. Have any of you had that then? You know, this thing where you smell a fish and stuff. I just heard this for the first time today. It's a revelation because on all of the shows we've done about COVID, and COVID, let's face it, has centred on this show for a number of months, 9 of them, frankly, we've never had that, suddenly me mum's got COVID and she smells of fish. We never had that one before. 0191 488 3188. Do tell. Anne has been on. Alan, I really think if you have enough good food and a decent lifestyle, no stress, you will survive all kinds of illnesses. I've never heard of any member of the Royals having any life-threatening illness. Even Prince Philip survived coronavirus, aged 90-year-old. There you go. So it can be done. But the thing is, I'm guessing, in fairness, Anne, that Prince Philip probably has doctors that will come and see him and hospitals that will allow him to go in should he need them. At a time when all other 90-year-olds were said, stay in your care home or stay in your house for 12 weeks. And if there's any problem after that, then you can give us a ring. You can't even come and see us. I would imagine when Prince Philip had a cough, there'd have been somebody there in 20 minutes. There's a slight difference a disparity between ordinary people and him. Let's talk to Dave in Sunderland. Then I think we're going to have a bit of music. Hello, Dave.
Hi, Alan.
Hello, mate. How you doing?
Not bad. Did you have a good Christmas, Alan?
I had well, like everybody. You watch the telly, you eat too much, done, pretty much. But watched a couple of decent films and stuff. I hope you did well and put some canny DVDs on and what have you.
I went to my sister's and that.
Oh, that's good. Good.
For the deer.
Great.
It was just for the deer, like.
Uh-huh. No, but that's nice. Did she spoil you?
Yeah, she did.
Great. That's good news.
Well, I was ill after.
Oh, why?
I don't know, like I had a massive dinner.
Right.
And all the stuff that goes after the Yule log and stuff like that.
Oh, right.
And in the Boxing Day, I was on the toilet 11 times in one day.
Blimey, so that's 11 little Yule logs. Right.
So that was really bad, Alan.
You just filled your fist. That's what you did. I mean, you say, I was bad. Isn't it funny? I was bad. After I ate enough to feed 15 people, I was a bit poorly. Who would have thought? Yeah, I think there's an awful lot of us this year. Around about 9:20, we're thinking, I'm either going to have to go and have a sleep or I'm going to sit on the toilet for the next 3 hours. I think there was a bit of that going on Christmas night, definitely.
Honestly, I couldn't believe 11 times, Alan.
11 times. Well, what's worse is that you counted them, really, because I would have just said, blimey, I was pooing off the face of the earth. But, no,
In the end, it was sat, so I couldn't wipe it.
It's all we needed to hear tonight. Now, if we were spies and we needed a password to say to a fellow agent in a raincoat on a bridge, it would be, it was so I couldn't wipe it. That is the kind of password that we need. None of this seagull flew over Moscow at midnight. None of that. Some real stuff. Because we've all been there. And I bet probably by numbers 9 and 10, you are getting a few little specks of blood on your toilet tissue.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what happens. Oh, we've all been there. Don't worry. No shame in it.
I've been ordering some more DVDs as well, Alan.
Right. Were you ordering them when you were on the loo? Because you seem to have been there an awful lot of the time.
I took a booking, please.
I was probably a big one by the sound of things. Oh, dear. So, I mean, is your octopus's beak in good shape now? I mean, has it returned to normal?
Yeah, normal.
Oh, well, that's I wouldn't have slept tonight if I didn't have that question answered. Dave, stay well. Divin' eat so much, man, ho. And I'll talk to you again soon. Thanks for coming on, mate. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
So, Tony, have you ever wiped so much that it was sore and you couldn't wipe it anymore? You see, he's nodding. He knows. Hang on. Let me just... Chris, you ever been so... he's nodding as well. You see, we've all been... Now, last week, somebody made a smart aleck comment to say, why does Alan always talk about the toilet? It's not me. It was him. He did it, Gov. It wasn't me. Do I revel in it? For some reason, I've started to. I used to say to people, stop talking about it, which, of course, made you talk about it all the more. Toiletry things. I don't know what it is, but we seem to have an absolute fixation about all that kind of stuff. Anyway, it is now time for us to have another piece of music, and I tell you, it is an absolute corking piece of music. It's by Stevie Wonder, who's... do you know, I picked this track hours ago to play, but we've just had Dave there, who was on the toilet 11 times after having his Yule log. He's on the loo 11 times. What song from Stevie Wonder could we possibly play? Master Blaster. Terrific. I tell you, can I make this up?